Hello, welcome, and like Candela used to say, hello and welcome another day to Radio Valley FM.
Start of the universe, it's meant to me. I feel sorrow when your lights go out. I do right if it's a destiny. Please God, I'm forced to suffer. Oh no, we have been doomed.
There goes nothing good as usual at this time of day with a lot of universes. Remember, that's Jorge and Gabriel. If it's the first time you listen to us, that's Nothing Good, a rock band that was made in our school, El Valle Santinarro. This is Valley FM. For anyone who's joining us today for the first time, this is a school radio project that we do in the school as part of our English department methodology, as it were. Very excited about what we have today. We've got loads of stuff that I find very interesting, that I think you will find very interesting if you're listening to us. First up, we have first of SOD with their teacher, their English teacher, Esteban, who are going to tell me all about their projects. They made some projects about related to social media. Apparently, that's something they've been studying, and I can't wait to see what they have to tell me about that. Next up, after that, we have film reviews by former collaborators of the show, the Gossip Trio. See if you remember them, or if you can recognize them from our previous shows. After that, we have Sara. Sara has some content that she will describe later in her space from 10 to the playground, which is 10 minutes before 11 o'clock. And after the playground, we have first of BACH B, first Baccalaureate B with Kieran. They're going to tell us what to watch these days on Netflix and other platforms. And finally, we have Gala and Anna getting controversial. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Have a great day. And here we are with first of SOD and Esteban, their English teacher. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. But after lunch, it takes an effort.
yeah, I suppose it does. Anyway, so Esteban tells me that you guys have been doing some projects for the I think it was in the third evaluation in the third term, but for English. And I've been looking at them, and I think they're pretty amazing. Some of them. Can you tell me what they were about, what the project was about, and everything?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was about the social network and the social media.
Uh-huh.
For the social networks and media, because the security of the person that have that.
Yeah. I was looking at some projects, one in particular about things we all need to be careful with, or that we need to look out for when we're making use of social media apps, web pages, or you name it. And I think it was very interesting that you just made a difference between social media and social networks. Is there a difference between those two? Was that you, Christina, or Lucia? I don't remember if it was one or the other.
It's Blanca.
Ah, Blanca, sorry. Thanks. But
Yes,
anyone
yeah,
can answer this question, really, if you guys have learned something with that.
Yes,
Yeah?
social media is only used to communicate with people and etc. And social network is used to communicate and post things like videos, photos, etc. But
Uh-huh.
it is used to communicate too.
All right. Can someone give me an example of someone other than you, obviously, because you have been very helpful, but I'd like to hear it from someone else. Can someone give me an example of a social network and social media, like with names that, for me to understand and for people to understand who are listening to this?
Yeah, social.
Yes.
For social media, it could be WhatsApp because, Instagram because it's more for posting things, and social networking WhatsApp is that for chatting and doing video call only.
All right. So when we talk about the differences between social media and social networking, I think one of the key differences is the word media, as you named it. Yeah, because media has to do with the press, with stories. I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So anything that provides you with information, news, stories is or belongs to the social media spectrum, let's say. Nice, that's very interesting. I honestly didn't know the difference between the two, and I didn't even know we made a difference between those two concepts. So I think it's very helpful that you guys. Now, why did you decide to do these projects about this topic? Was it something you decided? Was it something that was given to you? Anyone can answer, really.
It was a unit of the class that we did.
Yes.
So it was one of the units in class. Okay. And I think I have seen or Esteban mentioned when we talked about this that the groups that made the presentations worked so well in partly because they were made up of friends or people who got along well. Is that true?
Yes.
So who chose the groups? Were you allowed to choose the groups, or?
We chose the groups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think that's all positive, or that it has some negative things as well?
I think
Both.
Both. Blanca, sorry, or who was? I think it was Blanca. Christina, sorry. Tell us, Christina. You think
yes,
it's?
I think it was okay. It was pretty cool because we did it with our friends and we
Had a lot of fun, I suppose.
Yes.
But a bad thing it could be that you can be distracted and play because of you are doing it with your friends and not with some other people.
Yeah. So sometimes there are
a bad
moments.
point.
Yeah, I suppose there are some moments when you don't get as serious as you should, and you are with your friends. So obviously, yeah, that happened to my students as well with some group work that we were doing while in the quarantine as well, because the communication, I think, channel is more difficult.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so I have to ask, what was your favorite part about doing this project? Was it that doing it with your friends or something else?
I think
Yes.
Doing it with our friends, I think, because doing it with your friends takes to you more like more It's
more
that you
exciting.
want
Fun.
more that with not with other people.
Yeah. So for you, I guess what you're trying to say is that it's more pleasant to do. It's
Yes.
more enjoyable. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I absolutely agree with you. Now, obviously, for the sake of time, really, and for the show, I don't think we will have time to see every single project that you guys made. But Esteban, if you can make me a presenter, I will show them their own videos actually, which is funny. But I can show you one of the videos um, that really got
Yeah.
my attention.
All right. Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody to taking in this project. They put a lot of effort,
Hmm.
and they really took it seriously. All the groups, they were very good projects. But as Ruben said, we are running short of time, so we have to choose. And those two projects were voted by the class. Okay, so they
All right.
vote for the ones they like more because we wanted to make it democratic. Because I couldn't make the decision. They were pretty good, all of them, and they decided these two because, well, because of the time, due to the lack of time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, which one are you going to play first? I think it's the group one. I don't know.
It says here, yeah, group one,
Yeah.
social media,
Okay.
group one.
The PowerPoint, right?
That's right.
Yeah. That was Lucia, Chris, June, and Blanca,
Uh-huh.
if I'm not mistaken. All right.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. I think those are the names that are in the
All right.
PowerPoint presentation. So I still can't share my screen.
Okay. Oh, I have to make you moderator, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
don't worry.
I forgot.
It's fine.
Okay. I'm not very used to, because we used to work in private groups, so we have private
Uh-huh.
work
Okay.
with.
So you make moderators before
Yeah.
the meeting
Yeah. So
even
they,
starts.
exactly. So they can share their screens and they can work properly. But I
Mhm.
do it individually. That's why in these general meetings, I always forgot to make anyone moderators, because they don't need it.
Mhm.
It's basically to give instructions, to see that everybody has understood everything.
Yeah. Okay, so social media by group one, or the first. Here it goes.
Social Networking and Advices of It by June, Cristina, Lucia, and Blanca. Here we have some conditions that we think all the apps may have to be a good app. Facial recognition, no bad comments, revision of the videos, not inappropriate songs, reporting people, no private information, and conditions to have a public account. And here we have some advices we give to the people at the time of using social networking and social media. Unknown accounts, limit of hours, and do not give your password.
Conditions to have a public account. To have a public account, you must follow these conditions. If you want to have a public account and you are 14 years old or more, you can instantly create an account without parental permission. But if you are less than 14 years old, you must request your parents and fill the conditions. No bad comments. All bad comments will be erased. If you put hate comments in videos or offensive comments, will be erased. Some comments like this.
Hi, I'm Christina and I'm gonna talk about the revision of the videos, reporting people, and do not give your password. Firstly, the revision of the videos. We think that all the videos that you post may pass a revision in which naked people, bad influence videos, etc. are not permitted. Why? Because imagine that I post a video in which I'm naked and you see it and you're like 7 years old. That's not okay, because if you see it, that image will be in your memory for a long time. Next, reporting people. We think that whenever a person reports another, if the reason is logical, it will have consequences, such as the account will disappear. Because if I report someone or someone reports me and the reason is not logical, that is unfair, because I didn't do anything for you reporting me. So whenever a person reports another, the reason has to be logical to have consequences. And finally, do not give your password. You mustn't give your password to anyone, even to your friends, because it's private information that only you have to know. And if they know your password, they can impersonate you. So don't give your password to anyone and make a difficult password to guess. Maybe you can give your password to your parents, because if you forget it, you can ask them, but only to your parents, because if not, that will be bad. Thank you for listening, and now is the turn of Lucia. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lucia and I'm going to talk about the facial recognition, the unknown accounts, and the time limit. The facial recognition. We think that every time you get into a social network or media, it will be more secure if the app makes you a facial recognition. This is because if someone gets into your account and the app thinks that is you, the person can post some photos that you don't want to show or something similar. And if it makes your facial recognition and know that isn't you, it doesn't let you in. Unknown accounts. If you have a private account, it is better that you don't accept unknown accounts. We recommend you this because that person could be a different person of what she or he seems to be. Maybe he or she only wants to hurt you or watch your videos to find private information about you. So, don't accept unknown accounts. The time limit. If you're with a cell phone many hours, you can get several problems. The eye strain. Maybe your eyes are incapable of watching a screen many hours and can hurt because of that. The addiction. If you can stop with the mobile phone, maybe you have addiction that is caused because of watching the cell phone many hours. The insomnia. If you are many hours with the cell phone, this can make that you can't sleep. That's why we recommend you to use social networking 1 hour as much or 2.
Appropriate songs. The songs that are inappropriate bad words. It will be eliminated of the app and the account could be blocked. If he or she insists doing this, he will be banned of the app. Giving private information seems to feel the security of the person who has the account. It's not recommended to give private information because they can perfectly use against the tell a person what you say and even in person.
And finally, some conclusions of our presentation. We have to be careful in the social media because nowadays there is so much hate and people that want to get information of other people. So we think you must save your private information and do not give it to people. This may help you to be more secure in the social media, and we think that are good advices to follow. But everyone have their own opinion, so the only thing you have to know is be careful on the social media.
Right, that was pretty cool. I want to ask you a number of things. So, and I really don't want to miss the chance because there are many things that that I got inspiration from seeing your project. The first one is, did you learn doing this project? Did you learn something you didn't know about social media?
Yes, because about the bad comments that you did, it was pretty cool because some people write comments like you're bad comments, and that's not okay. So we learned that we can't do that because it hurts the people and the people can hurt you doing that. So that's why I think I learned doing this project.
Yeah. So about that, actually, that was one of my questions. One of the things that interested me the most was that bad comments. Do you take that into account when you comment on someone's story, for example, on Instagram, or when do you take other people's feelings into account, or because you are hiding in your house, sometimes literally under the sheets of your bed, and with the protection of distance from that person and from your phone, you just spread the hate. I'm interested. What do you do? Do you post bad comments? Do you think about your comments and the effect they will have? What do you do?
Do you want me to answer again, or maybe?
No, it's fine. Just it's a question for anyone in the class. So, what do you guys do? Some of the boys maybe, because we hear them less. I think Rodrigo was talking to me earlier.
Yes, a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Me. Yes.
What do you do specifically when when you're about to post on
The problem is that I don't have any private account in Instagram or that apps, because I don't have Instagram and all that apps.
All right. And what about YouTube?
Huh?
What about
YouTube?
YouTube?
Yes.
Yes. So YouTube, for example, say you're watching something. I don't know what you guys are into, or you specifically are into, but maybe imagine you like a channel, and for some reason one day you decide to go down in the comment section, and read some comments, and you can see that some people are giving their opinion on stuff, on things.
Yes.
So you say, oh, I'm gonna respond to that because that interests me. And somebody disagrees with you and tells you in very bad words, that your opinion is not valid, let's say. What do you do? Do you respond? Do you stop yourself?
I wouldn't respond to that person, and I would nothing.
Yeah. We just leave it be.
Because I don't want to make more angry that person.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't agree with me, I can't do nothing.
Exactly. Well, that's a very good way to think about that. I think, because there's nothing you can do to convince them, really. So why try and maybe get into a fight with someone you don't really know?
To put in more anger to the other person.
That's right.
It makes no sense.
To make them angrier. Yeah.
Yes.
True. That's true. Thank you. My next question is about Christina's part about reporting people. It's not for Christina, the question is for anyone who wants to participate, really. But there is something Christina said in her presentation about reporting people unfairly without a logical reason, she says. Now, obviously, the logic that I may have is not the same that another person may have. So whose logic should we listen to, is my question.
I think that the logic we have to listen is the both ones, because the person that reports may have a logical, a logical reason to report the other person.
Yeah.
Because if not, that will be bad, because you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Reporting.
So how can we effectively decide whose logic should or how to, as you say, how to balance the two logics, the logic of the person who reports and the person who published the video, for example, or the post? How can we reach an agreement? What should we do, or what should we have, or what should social networking sites have, you think?
Maybe a person that is on the app may, pay attention of what the person is saying, and the other person says. I don't know. I think that's a good solution.
Yeah. Maybe have someone moderate or referee, like a referee figure. That would be interesting. Maybe they already have them. We don't know. But clearly, this is something that is very. It happens all the time, and it goes back to what we said about the bad comments, etc. In YouTube, for example, I can moderate the comments that people make of my videos, but perhaps what I'm doing is also not fair for the other person, because they just want to show appreciation. And if I just, apply my own criterion, maybe I'm being unfair. So maybe someone should take care of that.
Yes.
Right. Moving on. I had a question about passwords. Well, obviously everybody understands the importance of passwords and keeping your passwords safe. I think, but do you follow these recommendations that you do you share your password with someone?
No.
No?
No.
Not even your parents?
Yes, because
No.
I think that is bad to say to one person because can't say to another person and that person impersonate you.
That's right. The moment it comes out of your mouth or your hand, if you write it down, you're risking you're putting it at risk. I think of spreading out. So yeah, I think the logical thing to do here is never to share it with anyone in general. Yeah, because you don't know who you can trust or not, right?
But your parents, you can tell your password to your parents because they are your parents, and you can tell the password to them because maybe if you forgot it, you can ask them like, "Hey, what was my password? I forget it. I don't know."
Yes, but to be honest with you, I don't. I mean, I see your point, but to be honest with you, what if your parents are not really who they say they are?
But I think they're not going to lie to me, so I them.
Yes, but okay, all right. When you were a child, you guys are what 12 now, yeah? So you're not children anymore. You're becoming teenagers. When you were a child, did you not when you lost a tooth, did you not put it under your pillow, thinking that there was a mouse that would give you money in exchange for that tooth?
Yes.
Did you know who really was that mouse?
But you're not going to change your password to a mouse.
No, no, no. What I'm trying to say, obviously, is, and that's very funny. Yeah, I'm not saying let's give our passwords to the tooth fairy, as we say in English, or mouse Perez, as we say in Spanish. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Mouse Perez, and sorry if this surprises you, is none other than your parents and mine. So they did lie to you once.
Yes, but that's something like when we were little, but now we know that they are our parents, and if not, I think they will say it. But I trust them, and I think they're telling me the truth because they are my parents.
Okay, you know when they say, when you say, "Mom, Dad, I failed a subject, whatever, maths, for example," and they say, "Oh, don't worry, we love you all the same."
Yeah.
They're also lying to you, though. They don't love you all the same. They wish, they don't tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings, but they really wish you had scored higher in the exam.
My parents don't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry for you. Well, it's good. It's good. What part don't they say? That they don't love you?
No, not exactly, but
Okay.
they get angry.
All right, they get angry. Then that is very lucky for you because that means they truly love you and you can trust them. So in your case, I would share my password with your parents. Your parents are safe. Yeah, they are okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
If I tell my password to my parents and they are not my parents, what can happen? And maybe they take my Instagram account or something like that, but that's not like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
That is actually a very good question, and now I'm going to get serious with this. You know how? Have you ever heard about big data?
I think I do.
Well, to make a long story short, basically, big IT companies, big internet companies such as Google, Facebook, they basically traffic with your data and mine. So obviously, I know what you're thinking. I have nothing to, but data right now is power, and people pay money for that. People pay money to But anyway, we could go into a never-ending debate with this. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. What's the harm really? What's the danger in
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Thank you.
no, thank you. Right. Then my next question is about facial recognition. Because I thought it was a very interesting thing. Do you think facial recognition is the future of security in phones or apps?
I think that in the future maybe they can do it every time that you enter to an app that have data of you is more secure. No, I think because I don't know if you have your social media in your computer and your sister enter to your account and publish something that you don't want because she or he is angry with you. I don't know. I think it will be more secure if the app makes your facial recognition and if it detects that it isn't you, so it doesn't let in the person that wants to.
Yeah. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, and in fact, I am not. I have to say, I'm not very happy with fingerprint recognition. For example, it doesn't work really well. So I think I prefer facial recognition if it works well. That is, if it really recognizes me, and it prevents my sister, for example, from taking my phone or someone else that I don't trust. Like my parents, for example, I don't trust them, as I have made very clear in the previous question. I think this helps a lot. Anyway, then my next question and last question really is about this. It's about time limit. I think it's a very interesting discussion here about time limit. Do you yourselves, you speak about time limit here, do you give yourselves a time limit to use phones? And if so, how do you do it?
With an app.
With an app? Really?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
It's an app that it's called Family Link, and my parents can put the time, for example, in WhatsApp. If my parents want me just to use WhatsApp 1 hour, they put 1 hour in the application.
Yeah.
And I can stay just in that app.
Just 1 hour, and it stops you from using it, or does it tell you, hey, you have reached the limit, please stop, and you have to stop yourself? How does it work? It stops automatically. Well, that is and what do you think of that? Are you not angry when you're in the middle of a conversation and suddenly you get that?
No, I'm not angry because normally if I am using my phone a lot of time, I have to stop.
It is true that it's a good way to control yourself, to keep your phone addiction under control. I'm not saying you are addicted to phones, but in general, I think everybody can potentially become a phone addict if we're not careful. So that's a very good thing to do. In fact, I don't know if you've heard this, but I've read recently that especially at night, you speak about insomnia here, I think. Yes, you do. At night, if you take the phone to your room, which is something many of us do probably, or just to leave it as an alarm clock for the morning next to you on the bedside table, maybe. I was saying that light that the phone projects, which is called blue light apparently, resembles that of the sun, the light of the sun. So your eyes and your brain, the stimulus they're getting is that, the idea they're getting is that it's still daylight. So they have to keep awake. And that's obviously very disturbing for your brain.
My parents told me that, and I trust them because that's so bad. Because my brother did that and was so bad, but now he doesn't.
Yeah. He doesn't do it himself.
No, I mean, before he like sleep.
Oh, right.
sleep.
He didn't used to do it, and now he does. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I think that's very clever, and for many people right now, it might sound as something crazy to think that it's better to leave your phone out of your room completely, and maybe go for an alarm clock, which is something that sounds like from prehistoric times, but it might save you from a lot of problems, really, in the
Yes.
future. So that's maybe something to think about. Right, very good. I also would like to see with you another video that whoop, another video that caught my attention from the ones that Stefan shared with me is a presentation animation, as it were, a cartoon animation that was entirely produced by you, as in made by some of you. Is that correct? Who did this? Are you there?
Me, Sophia.
Sophie, hello. How did you do this? Because I hear Esteban told me that you had to use like 1,400 different drawings, I think, in order to make this.
Yes, 1,418 drawings.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of drawing. Did you draw them yourself with by hand, or how did you do it?
It's an app in the iPad, so I have to draw with my finger.
Okay, well that makes things a bit easier, because I was thinking that maybe it was with the mouse, and with the mouse in the computer is it's terrible. It would be terrible to draw. I don't know if you guys have played Pinturillo 2 or games like that in with teachers in school or between yourselves. Do you know which game I'm referring to?
Yes.
Yes, it's like this game where you have to draw, and then other people have to guess what you're drawing while you are doing it. Those games, if you play without a mouse, are twice as hard to draw, especially if your computer is a little slow.
But
So
I have a question.
yeah, tell me.
Like the drawing, did they have to change the whole drawing and then start it from the beginning to change to another picture? Or did they just change the face of like a person to pass on to the next picture?
That's a very good question. Remind me to give you money after this interview, because you are basically doing my job. So thank you.
Okay.
Fortunately, the app have like tools. So one of that tools is to copy an image and like repeat it. So you don't have to draw like in all the drawings the same, but
in every slide, you can just copy and base your the new drawing on a previous drawing. Is that right?
yes, but you have to like if you want to put a limit time to see that, you have like to paste it a lot of time, because it's the app don't let you to put a limit time to see that. So that's a little bit difficult and large to make.
Long to finish, yeah, to complete.
Yes.
Okay, I think if you'd like to, I would like to see it. So I'm gonna play it. Okay, if that's okay with you, let's watch that.
Sure. Yes.
How to use well the social networking website.
Hi Max, you know what? I have found a new app called Meet Me Online. You should download it right now.
And how does it work?
It's about meeting people, and you can meet many friends. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to download it.
I will see how it works. Oh, there's a boy of my age. I will get to know him a little bit better. It seems nice. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Dusty. How old are you?
13.
Me too.
Oh, sorry, I'm Max.
2 weeks later.
You seem cool. We can stay in a restaurant.
Okay.
We are married, man. And what table have you reserved? That one.
But there's an older man. He has stolen your table.
No, Max, that's the guy from the app.
Oh no.
Let's go home, hurry up.
Max, if you want to use social networks, I'm going to put some rules.
Okay, Mom, that's a good idea. These rules are:
Read before authority.
Think first and then post.
Watch out for what you download.
Don't give your personal information.
Be careful with raffles.
Don't use your real name or surname.
Use a good password. Not too easy, but something that you can remember later. And if you are not in the age limits, don't use the app. Please, be careful with the social networking websites, and we hope you like it and all these tricks will be useful in your life. Thanks for your attention.
Right, perfect. So, did you like that? Had you seen it before? No, yes, no.
For me, it's something
Yes.
amazing because it's like a cartoon,
Yeah.
like a trivia program,
Uh-huh.
made it by kids of my age,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like amazing.
I
Yeah,
know.
so sweet.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, and I think it's really well written. The script of the, I mean, you guys clearly send out a message with your cartoon, with your little story, that is very clear and very well transmitted, and also in a very appropriate register, because when the kid goes, when the kid is answering the text messages, as you put voice to that, she sounds hesitant. She sounds dubious. She sounds like, okay, I will meet you at that restaurant. And then she takes her mum with her, which is what you and I would do probably. Well, not me, because I'm no longer a kid, but probably I would take my mum as well. I don't know. It would depend on how scared I am. But obviously, you do everything right in how to tell the story well. So well done. Now,
Thank you.
about the topic that you talk about, that you describe in your cartoon, um, does is it something you have discussed with your parents? You know, when they tell you, don't go home with strangers, that tell you, when school finishes for the day, they tell you maybe, I'm here for your dad. He told me to come pick you up. I'm a friend of your dad's. You don't know me, but obviously for us, I think it's very ingrained in our brains that we shouldn't do that. That we shouldn't go with someone we don't know. But how often do you think this happens to people, to kids?
I think it happens too much, but I don't know. I think it.
Some maybe in other places of the world, in other cities, or but I think in this country, in Spain, not much people do it. I think.
Yeah, luckily for us, I think we in our society, it's not something that happens that often that we should that is a problem. But as you say, in other societies in the world, it might be necessary for them to watch your animation. So I encourage you guys to try and publish it and move it around as much as possible, because you never know where it might be necessary and where it might be of help to others.
Yes, and one of the proposed to put that example is because sadly it's one of the most common examples that happens in the world.
Yeah.
So we want to the people to take concert about that you can't trust anyone in the social networking websites or social media, but throw in a fun way, that is the animation video.
Yeah. I agree with you. It was a very good way, a very right way, and a very straightforward way to connect with people and tell them your message, which is a very important one. That was all the time we had, guys. Thank you very much for teaching me actually about social media, about the dangers of not being careful with social media, your passwords, about the differences between social media and social networking. I had a fun time talking with you, so I hope to see you soon again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Esteban, for inviting me.
Enjoy it. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Wow, that was very interesting, and to think that these guys have such clear concepts about the use of social media and social networking. I mean, if I was a parent right now and I was listening to this, I would rest assured that my kids are more aware of the dangers the internet can pose than I thought, or at least that's how I think about it. Thank you for listening to that. And thank you, First of SOD, for your very interesting conversation. And here we are with First of SOD and Esteban, their English teacher. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. But after lunch, it takes an effort.
Yeah, I suppose it does. Anyway, so Esteban tells me that you guys have been doing...
Tired of leaving school and having to take the bus? Do not suffer anymore. Now, with our premium limousine service, you can go home comfortably, and the best thing is that you will not have to share a seat with anyone. Before, at 50 euros a month, now only at 49.99. Do not miss this incredible offer. Call now and get your premium limousine service.
Valley FM. Everything the light touches is the valley, 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 valley.
So this morning I mentioned... earlier today, really, when I started the show, I mentioned the Gossip Trio. Now, if you remember them, if you remember our previous edition of Valley FM 2 years ago, in 2018, I've been reposting the shows from that time. So You may have listened to a couple of them. I'm saying if you remember that, you will probably remember the gossip news section there was. It's a section led by Natalia, Laura, and Lucia, students who are now in 4th of SO. They were in 4th of SO, that is, moving on to baccalaureate this year because they're very good students and they passed everything, which is why they have decided to help me as well with and come on the show. Today they'd like to speak about the films they like and to review them. So let's hear it.
Good morning, everyone. If I remember correctly, yesterday I recommended the platforms that I usually use to find reviews about movies and that can serve as a guide or reference. Well, today I come to you with something new. I have come to tell you about two of my favorite premieres that have been just affected by the coronavirus. Introducing you a little bit more to my pleasures and comment about.
Here we go. I will start with a Spanish movie that at first did not inspire much confidence, but ended up being quite entertaining. Offering Into the Storm is a thriller that opens in cinemas on July 24. It is the last film of the successful BACH trilogy based on the novels by Dolores Redondo, that in total managed to raise 5 million euros at the ticket office. The plot is mainly focused on how the police chief of homicides, Amaya Salazar, will investigate her mother's past after confronting her, in order to uncover her dirty laundry and other related events that may solve the murders with similar forced analysis, in addition to managing her personal life, among other things. Among all the actors and their cast, the role of Marta Larralde as Yolanda Berreta and Susi Sanchez representing Rosario, a deranged woman, stands out. Personally, if I had to rate it, I would give it a score of 8 out of 10. Because although the plot itself is accomplished, it also does not have something innovative or out of the ordinary terms of thrillers.
Now I want your full attention, so turn up the volume on the radio because I come to tell you about another one of the most anticipated releases after a range greater than 30 years. Yes, it's the return of Top Gun Maverick. If you are new to this channel, you should bear in mind that every movie buff knows that when a movie is very successful, it is most likely that there will be continuations or sequels. Some we can imagine, but there are others that we do not expect. These are more than enough reasons for it to be Paramount's big bet for this year. That's why they have had to postpone its premiere to December 23 and not risk waiting to see how the situation was in June. If you have had the opportunity to see the trailer, you will see that the essence of the film pays homage to the classic essence of the first film and maintains its most acclaimed characters, Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, and John Hamm, among many others. The new story will mix Rocky pilots with veterans such as Maverick, our protagonist, who has already undertaken great air missions in the past. And together they will have to adapt to new technologies and drone warfare. However, taking production into account, we assume that the result will be credible and risky. I personally am eager to know why music will be declined by its producer, since it was awarded for it and it meant a point in its favor. Does this mean that we will listen to Danger Zone again by Kenny Loggins? Or will there be a new version of the famous main song, Take My Breath Away? These are questions that concern us more than one and will soon be answered. Now I am going to be objective and give you my opinion about this movie. I
usually tell you to never judge a movie by its cover or its beginning, but in this case, Top Gun has an incredible production with a powerful start from minute one. It's a full-blown action genre. And that's all, folks. After seeing so much nostalgia in you, and if you take into account my advice, I can confirm you that you will soon take the seats of the nearest cinema. In short, I encourage you to see the previous movie, and on the case you have already seen them, remember those scenes that you feel like most emotion in the first time. And that is all for today, listeners. I send you a greeting as the time goes by. Will announce more recommendations to spend this quarantine discovering the success that cinema offers you. See you soon.
Thank you, girls, for that. That was very interesting. Some of the films I have seen, some of others I haven't. I'm embarrassed to say. Top Gun, for example, I haven't seen. Yeah, it's just that I don't watch. I haven't watched that many films in the quarantine, really, or series. I'm more of a reader myself, really, to be honest. However, more on this topic after the break, which, if you're listening to us live, is later at 10 past 11 with Kieran and first of Baccalaureate B. If you are listening to us as a podcast, it's hour 2:10. It's the third space today, section, if you will, of today. Now, in 3 minutes, I'll be having Sara in the show. We'll be having Sara in the show, but that's after the break.
Are you tired of watching Netflix alone? Did you cry watching The Kissing Booth? Do you want a Marco Diaz or Adriana Greste in your life? Do you spend more time in the friend zone than in your own home? Then download Salupa, a dating app for El Valle students. With this app, you will find your own Noah Flynn. Salupa, the best choice for your lonely life. Do you hate shopping and having to buy many different colored t-shirts? Because here we bring you a color-themed t-shirt for every day. Are you tired of your backpack of always? Here you have a purchase for a brand new backpack every day. Have you ever dreamed of being able to know what someone is thinking? Imagine knowing everything that people think of you without them really knowing that you read their thoughts. Here at Valley FM, we bring you an app called Did You Know That? Download it now.
Valley FM. It's not the Valley of the Fallen, it's the Valley of the Rockers.
We have the alternative for your bad days. If you come to see us in the playground, we will have ballots available for all of you. You will get them for €2.
Are you struggling to pass that stupid subject? Do you need some help with the next exam?
We have the best cheat notes of Fantinaro. We cover everything from ACE exams to BACH B exams.
Buy two and receive a free German cheat note. Brutal cheat notes. Simply brutal.
Es la leche.
Tired of leaving school and having to take the bus? Do not suffer anymore. Now, with our premium limousine service, you can go home comfortably, and the best thing is that you will not have to share a seat with anyone. Before, at 50 euros a month, now only at 49,99. Do not miss this incredible offer. Call now and get your premium limousine service.
Valley FM. Everything the light touches is the valley, 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 valley.
Aren't you tired of the clothes in your wardrobe that you no longer use? The ones that take away space for other new clothes? Well, the new Vinted platform, an expert in trends, is responsible for ensuring a safe and effective purchase and sale of your favorite outfits. We have a large number of users with whom you can chat throughout the page and agree on the price that you choose. Unlike other companies specialized in the same subjects, we facilitate your work, carrying out our shipping to avoid confusions. What are you waiting for? Replacing and saving your purchase has never been so easy. Vinted, if you want something, look it up.
Are you tired of having to stop the radio or your music when you enter a parking or just when you remain without connection? Well, it's over because from now on, with Spotify Premium, you won't have to worry about that. You will only have to enjoy your music and that of others, as you like. Try it free 1 month. If it convinces you, for only €5 a month, it will be yours. Don't waste your time. Digit Music awaits you.
There is an
Hey, did you hear Valley FM's back?
That's groovy.
Hi. I'm so sorry. It's because I didn't saw the call. ASMR. Stressed, but fine. Mm, I don't know, like, no, no, no. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it was the class. I don't know. He's still doing classes, so yeah. Thank you. It's hard. Yeah, but it's still two exams. It's still two exams. I mean, like, I'm good at projects, but at the time of exams, like, I get really stressed. Yeah, they're like a monster. Oh, sorry. No, I just said that they were like a monster that go and hunt you. Okay, well, let's start. First of all, I wanted to ask you like a question, okay? Like, have you ever been dumped? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh my god, that's hard. That's true. Well, so now that I know that you have, I'm going to give you some tips, for the next time. Because I really think that you went through bad times. So, okay, so let's see. Today I'm going to be like a guru from love. So let's see how it goes. So, first of all, like when you are dumped or you have dumped someone, like you really feel bad, even to the point that you don't know what you have done wrong or you just feel sorry for the other person. So, my first advice is to give it a good cry. Sorry. Tell yourself it will be okay. Breathe and admit that it's all over. And don't try to deny it because like songs will remember you of him or her. So it doesn't make a point to try to deny that it's not over. Also, even if your friends tell you to come back to him or she, don't do it. Okay, like that's simply stupid. Don't. So yeah, it's basically that because I'm pretty sure that everyone, okay, not only you or me, have dumped or have been dumped. So yeah, we'll understand you. Yeah, that's no, because that's toxic. You know what I mean? Like, you need some time, like you say, to readjust the rhythm of the music because it's just so peaceful for both of you. So don't try to make it harder. So we'll come back to that later. Yeah. Yeah, and also to think like, yeah, no, and also like you have to make sure of which boundaries you want to make in the relationship, because when you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you can do like basically whatever you want. So I don't know if you want to have like a special friend. I don't know. Like you only have to try to make sure that you are not going to come back. That's the whole point. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, I also wanted to say a couple more things, okay? So the first thing is that like we all tend to say, okay, it's over, let's forget him, let's erase all his pictures and everything. But the thing is, don't do that. Okay, don't. Because those are precious memories for you and for him. So the thing is like first get some time for you to see what you want to do with your life. And also go out with your friends, okay? Like um, don't have a rebound, but mingle as much as you want. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I don't know if everyone knows. Yeah, like I don't know if actually everyone knows what a rebound is. So I will just make it a quick explain. Okay, so a rebound is like when you dumped or are dumped and you want to replace that person with another one. So okay, don't do that. That's awful. And that's really toxic. But of course, you can flirt because that's healthy. That's true. Mm. This is nice because I feel like we're helping the society to become better. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I hope those tips help you and everyone who's listening because I think they are useful. At least for me, they were. Yeah, because like you're hurt and you only search for hurting the other person. So why are we like that? Okay. Yeah, I also brought some tips about reforming and redecorating. So I don't know if the translation is okay, but like reforming, making reforms. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Oh. Nice. Well, like that may contribute to the Earth ecosystem growing. I don't know. Okay. Well, I don't know what you can do with mode and those things, but yeah, call someone who can take them off before they do any worse. But yeah, my advices were like I love like moving stuff around my room and everything because I don't like static things. I like myself in constant change, so my environment same. So, first of all, like I'm going to paint my wall. So I've been researching and talking to some people, and they told me to first of all cover everything that I don't want to be damaged with paper sellotape. Like I really don't know why experts do that, but I think that will be useful because like if you to paint black a wall and you don't want the rest to be black, I don't know. Maybe it will. Because like a couple of years. Sorry. That would be a bit wise. Yeah, and also like like a couple of years ago, I was painting my room, and when I finished it, I was like, "Oh my god, it's so nice!" And then when I put like all the stuff, like the bed in its place, the table and everything, I didn't look at the floor, and it was like such a big mess, and I was like, "No, oh my god, what I'm going to do now?" So she was like, "Just clean it. However you do it, but clean it, please." Yeah. Don't be like me, guys. Cover the floor too. Okay. So another thing was like painting is actually an expensive thing. Like even if you don't realize it, like buying the paint, also the brush. I don't know if you said it like that. Yeah, like the brush, the rollers, and everything. Like it really costs a lot. So yeah, just think about how much money you have and what you want to paint. Because if you want to paint like 2 meters square of something, maybe it's easy, but
Yeah.
no.
I realized just now that my microphone was off. I'm so sorry. So people could only hear you. Gladly they could hear you, but only you. So I apologize for that. So you missed my story about how someone dumped me once, but here we are.
No, don't say
We moved on. We moved on to other things.
that.
That's between you and me now, Sarah.
Okay, wait. So do we start again?
What's that? No. We have to start again. In fact, we can just make like a little summary of what we said, but we don't have to really fix my stupidity with the microphone. It's not the first time it's happened this week that for some reason I forget to turn on my microphone and I start talking and you know people just listen to either music or silence. Or you know
So funny
in
thing.
the best in the best case scenario you in this case. So anyway,
Oh,
uh,
let's see if it's useful. Yeah. Like just imagine entering to a program and listening in silence. Like
yeah. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't help the number of concurrents we have, the number of viewers we have live, that we're in silence. But I suppose I can fix that later. Anyway, so we
a quick
were
summary.
you know what, I think I can kill two birds with one shot if I make some comments about what you just said, because we were talking about earlier when I was in silence, we were talking about being dumped and how you need some time to adjust to your new situation once you have so I think in relation to that, repainting your walls in your room, for example, or if you live on your own, your house, or moving stuff around and resorting out your let's say your room in this case, your bed in a new place, maybe buy some new furniture or make it yourself. Making little or big changes in your in the feng shui, as we say, of your room or house in the space where you live helps you. I think at least it does me. Helps me um, transition from one stage of my life, one period of my life into onto the next. I think. What do you think, Sarah?
Same. Because
Yeah.
it's like you can have a first. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a
Exactly.
dentist. These sort of people. Yeah, because I mean, like that's easier than I don't know moving to another country where you don't know anyone and you restart your life. So yeah, that's easier.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so so discussions, the whole thing made me laugh. Ah.
So.
So yeah, we talked about love matters and reforming.
Uh-huh. Refurbishing your doing some works. Also, one thing that I said and people didn't probably didn't hear because I'm retarded is that yes, and I forgot to turn my microphone on. Is that I have some mold in near my window in my room because of the rain in April. It rained so much, and apparently the window was not prepared for that. That that water started to come in, and well, basically the isolation in that wall mustn't be very good, and that window, and I have mold now, which is not very interesting for our radio listeners probably, but it's a fact. And since we were talking about doing works in our rooms, I think it's necessary that we talk about that. Anyway,
Have you named
the, the mold, not really, but maybe I can now.
I will call him like moldy. Like, you know,
Moldy.
I don't know, it's cute.
Yeah, I think it is cute. You're right.
For mold. Probably he also don't want to be there, so.
Anyway, anything else you have for us today?
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of sad, but I think we should talk about this. Because, yeah, we have to. So, the thing is that I don't know if you have seen some carteles around your neighborhood or something.
Like posters, I suppose you mean.
Yeah, posters.
And banners. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, about missing dogs and missing animals.
No, I haven't actually. To be honest, I don't go out much because there is this new thing called coronavirus. I don't know if you've heard, but there's like it's big now. But yeah, I know what you mean. No, I don't actually.
Okay, thank you. So, well, the thing is that I do, and also I have a dog, you know, so I getting into this whole world about animals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, due to rains and all this stuff about coronavirus and everything, like animals are getting so confused about not seeing people, you know, like around.
Yeah.
Like they are just not escaping, but doing weird things. Like, for example, I was walking my dog last night and I saw like two birds like fighting, and then a person came and they like started flying around the person, and it was so weird. Really, so I don't know if that's due to coronavirus or what, but I don't know.
Maybe people have started to act strangely, and so have dogs. Everybody feels weird about it.
Yeah. So the thing is that I wanted to bring a couple stories about lost dogs. Okay, so yeah, it's for if people can help.
Do you think those stories will be very, very sad? Because if they are, I might go and bring some paper tissue because I might need it.
Okay, I let you like a couple minutes to go if you want, but they are not that sad.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let's start. First of all, I'm going to tell you about a recent one that is about a dog called Flippy. Okay, he's a boy and he's 13 years old. Okay, he's kind of old for being a dog. So, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that the 2nd of this month, I don't know if I can say it like that, but
yeah, the 2nd.
His owners were like shopping here in the neighborhood. So, yeah, they went just to a bazaar to buy some candies and whatever. And when they went out, the door was like far, far, far away. And a girl with a child got him. And it was like so shocking because they didn't know what to do. And they started screaming like, hey, why are you taking away our dog? But like he wouldn't answer. Yeah. And I was like, why are you doing that? Like, I know having a dog can be expensive, but the way is not stealing a dog from other people.
Yeah, obviously. Jesus Christ. That's terrible.
Yeah.
What kind of people?
And the whole neighborhood, now like the whole community is like saying like, who was that girl? Like they are really gossiping about these things, and I feel really bad because it's like, how can you steal a dog from someone?
Who does that? That is lame to say the least. It's the worst. Do not steal. It's like some people like to think of their pets as humans, and if well, maybe human is not the word, but definitely they're
No, but
definitely
like there's
a member of your
someone.
family. So who steals, who steals a member of your family? Someone's family. Jesus, the things people do
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's so weird the whole thing because like I don't know at what day are we today, but like 7 or 10 days have passed and there's still no sign of the dog. Like
Yeah. He's nowhere to be
happened.
found. Oh, poor thing. He's probably
Yeah.
scared. Wherever he is, he's probably very scared because he doesn't understand what's happening to him, let's say.
And like in the how do you say in the poster also
Uh-huh.
say that he is like really old and that he can barely hear and have many heart sicknesses. So yeah, please, people, if you see him, find it.
Yeah,
Like, tell me.
please. I don't know what we can do. Maybe we can I don't know, maybe we can if what should they do if should I say something in the comment section, maybe like call this number, or do you have the number with you, like
Yeah. Yes, here it is.
information?
Like,
Yeah.
let me just tell you. Okay, there are two numbers, one for Emilio and one for Ivan. Oh, I didn't know the owners. So, 667 098027. That's Ivan's number.
Could you
And
repeat that? Sorry, I got a little lost because I was writing the whole message. It's 667
I'm sorry.
089,
So,
did you say? 667?
so I'll start again. Yeah.
Yes.
667 09
Uh-huh.
8027.
Okay. 27 as in number 2 and then number 7, or 2 sevens put together? Two number 7s.
No, like number 2 and then 7, like
Yeah.
27.
Thank you. I assumed it, but I want to leave things clear. So,
Just in case.
okay, if somebody in the north of Madrid, I suppose, because I don't think,
Yeah.
well, or anywhere else really,
Exactly.
but yeah, in the Centenaro area, thinking and hoping that the dog is just lost and no one took it, sees that dog we've talked about, or a simply a stranded dog, please call 667-098-027. That's who do you say his name was? Raphael? No,
Ivan.
Ivan. Sorry, I don't know where Raphael came from.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you? This is absolutely nothing to do with the previous topic, pet rescue, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one of my favorite series when I was a kid. So Raphael,
See?
Michelangelo, yeah. I don't think it's the same generation. I have to say, because you and I are not from the same generation. So, but yeah, they're
I
legends.
like yeah, like I don't know how old you are, but like 10 years of difference. I don't know.
10 years of difference. Sarah, if I loved you until now I love you even more.
Thank you. No, but I'm being serious. Like more.
Can we do a game out of this, maybe? Can we do it, like it's a game that you have to. Okay, so I'll give you I'll start giving you like or better, sorry, do we have time? Because maybe you have like 1,000 more things to say and I'm taking your time.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we can take on.
All right. So I'll give you a piece of information that I know, or something that I have lived, and from that you have to guess. Obviously, if with that piece of information you don't have enough, you just tell me, okay, Ruben, keep going. So, for example, I'm old enough. I'm old enough that I saw, and I remember very distinctly seeing 9/11 on TV.
Oh my god. Really?
That's not really, yeah. That's not really very old, is it? I mean, most people who are adults will remember that. So I wanted
But
to
that's kind of old.
kind of old. Okay, so how old do you think I am then with that information? That was 2001, by the way. 2001.
Oof.
I'm not saying that I was already old there. I'm just saying that I remember that. I remember seeing that on TV.
Imagine being a vampire.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Like imagine being a vampire and we don't know it and it's like,
I remember the Second World War on TV.
those were good times. Okay, no. The thing, okay. I think like you may be like, okay, like if I'm 15, well, I'm turning 16 like in a couple months, and I said 10 years more, and you say that that was not enough, like that lets us in 26. You're older than 26.
I am older than 26, yes.
Oh my God.
Which, but it's it makes me very happy that you think. I mean, I love being the age I am, but I also love it when people tell me that I look younger or sound younger or think younger.
Don't wait. I'm
Okay,
trying
let
to
me give
guess.
you let me give you more information.
Okay. Are you
My
more than 30?
Yes, but I thought that the game was that I told you information rather than you asking me for it.
Don't
Right,
to me.
wait. The summer of '96 was the best summer of my childhood. The summer of '96.
Okay, wait. So, I, I suppose that in the summer of 96, you were like around my age. So, if
No. I
not,
said,
you.
look. I said childhood. For me, childhood is from when you start to speak to when you discover that Santa Claus is not real.
Poor kids.
Maybe a little longer than that, but just 1 or 2 years.
Oh my God. So, you must be like 36.
No. Cold, very cold. No, that you went very far.
Oh.
No, it's between 26 and 36. Between those two things.
Okay, no. Okay, I'll say 33.
33, like a Jesus. Like I had an Italian workmate once, and he was 33, and every time he was learning English, and the few things he could say were I am 33, he would say, and then he would say like a Jesus. So every time somebody says you're 33, I remember him. Maurizio, his name was, wherever he is in the world. If he ever listens to this, Maurizio, I haven't forgotten you. Hello. Anyway, 30. Should I just say it? We've played enough.
Okay.
One last piece of information. You're very close with 33, but I'm not that old yet. I remember the last piece of information is for me when people start saying COVID, I still think of 1992, the 1992 Olympics, in Barcelona, where the mascot for for that year's Olympics was Kovic. His name was, and I remember him because I was a kid and I liked Kovic. Anyway, I'm 32.
You
I am
have to be
32.
like, okay. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
like to keep in shape.
That's nice.
It's because I think it's because I still think like a kid. I am a Peter Pan of life, I think, in general.
You know what? Like, I do have like really young teachers. I mean, like, not if they are or not, but like they look young.
Uh-huh.
You know, also Raul, the history one.
Yeah, Raul. He was on the show once in season 1 of Valley FM. Raul Barea, his name is.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
also
I recently discovered that he's like around 36, I think. I don't remember really
he's
well.
older than me.
But
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Yeah.
He's my friend. He's a good friend of mine, and I want to say hello to him if he's listening. In fact, I've known him for a long time now, for a number of years now. I happen to know him from or through another teacher in the school, Javier Lisbona, who I'm sure you also know. But anyway, he's older than me, which is what matters here.
Are you the youngest teacher?
No, I'm not. But I was for a number of months. I think I was when I first started working for El Valle Schools. I was for a limited time. I think a few months. The youngest teacher, together with someone who came in at the same time as me. A music teacher a German teacher who's no longer in the school. Her name was Clara. And yeah, we were both the same age, but I think I was younger by a few days. And someone else came after me, and they were younger, and they spoiled everything.
Ooh, they took your title.
Yeah, they did. That they did.
Okay, well, nice to chat. Like, I don't like if you really think about it, like us students, like we don't really get to know you teachers, like personally.
You don't? You think you don't? I am pretty straightforward. I talk about my personal life. I talk about half of the things I say are jokes, but all of them are based on true events, on true things. So, if that makes any sense.
That's nice. Yeah.
And if you ask me a question, I will always tell you an honest answer. I have no problem with that. So yeah.
Wait. Let me think of an embarrassing question.
An embarrassing question. What is that to be embarrassing?
I love you. Please don't. No, okay, no, I'll be nice. I'm not going to ask anything.
No, nothing? Seriously?
Are you tempting?
No, I'm not. No, but you can if you want to.
Okay, wait. I'll think about it and I reserve my question for further time.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have a last topic to talk about.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I've been doing some interviews and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was going to give some tips about that because people have asked me how I do it and why does it sound natural. And I'm glad that you all say that it sounds natural because I'm pretty nervous when the thing happens. So
yeah, it's definitely something I think that represents you, I think, very well. It's something very characteristic of you that you sound very. You've always come across as a very straightforward and natural person, which is we're not trying to say here that anyone who's not natural and straightforward is not a good person or a good communicator, or that they don't have any virtues. But you obviously have that superpower, which is you communicate really well and very directly, which also always helps in groups of people, I think, because there has to be someone who does it for the rest of them. Have you ever heard the expression "to break the ice"?
Yeah.
Well, you're an icebreaker in that sense. You always break the ice for people to open up and start saying what they think. What is that?
I feel like a boat. icebreakers, like they go through ice. Okay, no, sorry, that was a bad joke.
Jeez.
So, don't cry, please.
No, I didn't bring my paper in the end, my tissue paper.
Okay, nice, better. So what was I talking about?
In your interview, sorry, you were saying that you don't know why, but a lot of people tell you that you sound very natural and that you like that.
Yes, I do. Because it's like good things about me. So yeah, let's go with it. So the thing is like I've been looking in the internet like really a lot to have some like if I could take some information from other interviewers to see how they do it. But the thing is like if you search in the internet like how to do a good interview, like you're not going to find results for interviewers, but for people who is going to be interviewed. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I do actually. It's difficult, to find. Well, I haven't tried myself, but to be honest, I guess it must be difficult because those people are always invisible. They're always on the other side of the camera. If you think about it, when you see an interview, especially. No, go ahead.
No. The thing is like, yeah, and it's so hard because it's like you just have to be yourself, because you don't find information from any other person.
Yeah. I guess it depends very much on the perspective from which you are interviewing that person, because if you're doing that to show something, let's say you interview a politician because you want to show their good side or their more personal side, or the opposite, you want to show how ridiculous they are, for example. That happens sometimes in politics, depending on the your editor, the let's say the political ideas of the media you work for, and then that obviously is very different from having like the other day, for example, we listened to your interview to Esther Gines, who is a writer. You had no intention to make her look bad. In fact, you had every intention to discover everything and make us listeners discover everything about her works and how to become a writer.
Yes, read her book. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Have you read it?
So yeah, I started it because I really found it interesting and it's beautiful. Like all the descriptions she talk about and everything is really nice. I recommend it.
Yeah. The other day I started reading the reviews we sent in the show, and where to find the book, but I haven't managed to get a copy of it yet. But I think I will read it this summer, definitely. And I don't read in Spanish much, so it's a compliment coming from me, I guess.
Practicing your Spanish?
Yeah, which I need to do.
Sometimes it's fine, like.
Yeah, every now and then.
Okay. Yeah. So the thing, like as I cannot find things in the internet, I brought some of my tips. So let's see if it helps.
Yeah. Let's hear those.
Yeah. So first of all, you have to have clear that before an interview, you really have to know things about that person, because it's not like you cannot ask him about himself. So I recommend to do like previous interview, not to that person, but to the internet about that person. You know?
Yeah.
Like making a little curriculum so that you later can take out questions and everything.
Yeah, and so that your questions are better directed, really, because if you just improvise your questions or you honestly have every single question, then someone who already knows that person will not be interested in your interview. If you go up to Estelle, for example, the other day, and you tell her, so what do you do for a living? Do you, you write? Okay, interesting. And you write with your right hand or your left hand? Rather to jump into more interesting questions, maybe.
Yes. And also, like before the interview, I recommend to have a couple minutes to talk to that person just to see how she or he is. Like because you can have like strong feeling with them so that you feel free to talk about things, but also it can happen that they don't really match with you. So the interview is a bit colder and it's really bad if that happens because it feels really unnatural.
Yeah, well said.
And also, like, before talking to the public and everything, people tend to feel, how you say it, like stressed or down, or
Intimidated?
they don't know how, yeah,
Oh,
intimidated.
uh-huh.
So it's good for saying in this way to have like a previous interview with that person so that you both the stress and the feel pressure.
Uh-huh. I didn't know that one. I wouldn't have thought of that one, but it makes sense because it releases tension, as you say.
And also another thing that I do is like to the people I'm going to interview, I shouldn't be saying this, but I do it. So like I first send them the questions I'm going to ask them, like because in this way you can, how to say it, you can simply let them get a little bit prepared about the things
Yeah,
they're going
yeah,
to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
And also like doing interviews in the language that is not yours is kind of hard due to vocabulary. So yeah, so that they can practice a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a very good tip actually because it makes them be more prepared or come more prepared to the interview. They know what to expect, so they can expand maybe in questions that they've thought about previously.
Yeah, that was basically all. Well, and then during interviews, you also like I'm bad at interviews because I laugh a lot, and everything. So it just feels like I'm having a joke about the whole thing, and it's not like that. The thing is just that I don't know. I like stuff,
You,
so I like what I do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and you should because you do it very well, I think.
Thank you.
If you enjoy what you're doing, and everybody in the audience should know that Sarah is doing this out of her own will. Really, she wants to do this, so she helps me with it. She's not. I mean, no one asked her to do it, as it were, and she does it because she likes it, and that shows obviously in everything you do, and the effort you put into it.
I'm just sorry that the last week I wasn't like really active because I was doing some things, about school and everything. So yeah, sorry for that.
No. That's perfectly fine. I talk about the school all the time.
Yeah. Nah, it's sad, but it's what it is. So I think it's time.
Yep, it's time for our break. Thank you very much, Sarah, for everything for all your tips, for everything we have you've brought us today. I am very sorry that I think for 20 minutes straight you couldn't hear my voice. That's very sad. But at least you had Sarah today, which makes me very happy. I'm sure many people are tired of listening to me all the time, so yeah, that let you enjoy Sarah, and it made sense, I suppose, to some of you, at least half of it. Anyway, thank you very much, Sarah. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And to everyone else, I'll see you after the break.
Valley FM. It's not the Valley of the Fallen, it's the Valley of the Rockers.
We have the alternative for your bad days. If you come to see us in the playground, we will have ballots available for all of you. You will get them for €2.
This is Valley FM.
Are you struggling to pass that stupid subject? Do you need some help with the next exam?
We have the best cheat notes of Fantinaro. We cover everything from MES exams to BACH B exams.
Buy 2 and receive a free German cheat note. Brutal cheat notes. Simply brutal.
Es la leche.
Are you tired of watching Netflix alone? Did you cry watching Monsters Inc? Do you want an Emma Watson, Scarlett Johansson in your life? Do you spend more time in the friend zone than in your own home? Then download Salupa, a dating app for El Valle students. With this app, you will find your own Kate Beckett. Salupa, the best choice for your lonely life.
Aren't you tired of the clothes in your wardrobe that you no longer use? The ones that take away space for other new clothes? Well, the new Vinted platform, an expert in trends, is responsible for ensuring a safe and effective purchase and sale of your favorite outfits. We have a large number of users with whom you can chat throughout the page and agree on the price that you choose. Unlike other companies specialized in the same subjects, we facilitate your work, carrying out our shipping to avoid confusions. What are you waiting for? Replacing and saving your purchase has never been so easy. Vinted, if you want something, look it up.
Are you tired of watching Netflix alone? Did you cry watching The Kissing Booth? Do you want a Marco Diaz or Adriana Agreste in your life? Do you spend more time in the friend zone than in your own home? Then download Salupa, a dating app for El Valle students. With this app, you will find your own Noah Flynn. Salupa, the best choice for your lonely life.
Hey, did you hear Valley FM's back?
That's groovy.
Do you think your parents might kill you if they go to your tutoria? Do you want to be able to leave early whenever you want? Then you should hire our services. We offer actors to play your mother or father and go to your tutorials instead of your real ones. And give you fake permission to leave early. Only for a small fee. Call us.
Psst. Hey you. Yes, you. The one who's hearing this. Is your backpack too heavy? Your back hurts, you have bad posture, and you also feel like you get smaller every time you carry it? Say goodbye to all these problems with our new robot, the multifunctional charger. It has a platform that will carry your backpack without you noticing. It also comes with a built-in system that will straighten your back in 3 weeks of continuous use. Request it right now for only €120. And if you're one of the first 5 to call, we will send you the 300-page manual with all its functions at half of price. Do not miss out on this unique offer.
Valley FM. It's not the Valley of the Fallen, it's the Valley of the Rockers.
Have you ever dreamed of being able to know what someone is thinking? Imagine knowing everything that people think of you without them really knowing that you read their thoughts. Here at Valley FM, we bring you an app called Did You Know That? Download it now.
The Savage Madrid is back one more year, and this time better and bigger than ever. If you have never come, you should do it without even thinking about it. This edition will be held in October, on the 4th and 5th. The schedule will cover from 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. This means that you will have the privilege of enjoying more than 16 hours of your favorite music, live and without interruptions. This year you will be able to hear singers like Funzo and Baby Loud, Cruz Cafuné, Cace or Arce. Don't think it twice and buy your tickets that are already on sale. Remember, Savage Madrid.
Are you tired of your backpack of always? Here you have a purchase for a brand new backpack every day.
Tired of leaving school and having to take the bus? Do not suffer anymore. Now, with our premium limousine service, you can go home comfortably, and the best thing is that you will not have to share a seat with anyone. Before, at €50 a month, now only at $49.99. Do not miss this incredible offer. Call now and get your premium limousine service.
Are you tired of having to stop the radio or your music when you enter a parking or just when you remain without connection? Well, it's over because from now on, with Spotify Premium, you won't have to worry about that. You will only have to enjoy your music and that of others, as you like. Try it free 1 month. If it convinces you, for only €5 a month, it will be yours. Don't waste your time. The good music awaits you.
Valley FM. Everything the light touches is the valley, 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 valley.
There is a novelty in the market. The new Reuben juice comes full of vitamins so that children never get tired of playing and never stop speaking English.
You're listening to Valley FM.
Hi, I'm Jaisa. Today I am going to introduce you an amazing product. These are the new headbands. They are in many different colors and they also are perfect for any occasion that you want to put it. They are very comfortable.
Are you tired of watching Netflix alone? Did you cry watching The Kissing Booth? Do you want a Marco Diaz or Adriana Greste in your life? Do you spend more time in the friend zone than in your own home? Then download Salupa, a dating app for El Valle students. With this app, you will find your own Noah Flynn. Salupa, the best choice for your lonely life.
There is a novelty in the market. The new Reuben juice comes full of vitamins so that children never get tired of playing and never stop speaking English.
Have you ever dreamed of being able to know what someone is thinking? Imagine knowing everything that people think of you without them really knowing that you read their thoughts. Here at Valley FM, we bring you an app called Did You Know That? Download it now. We have the alternative for your bad days. If you come to see us in the playground, we will have ballots available for all of you. You will get them for €2.
This is Valley FM.
Are you struggling to pass that stupid subject? Do you need some help with the next exam?
We have the best cheat notes of Fancinaro. We cover everything from MES exams to BACH B exams.
Buy 2 and receive a free German cheat note. Brutal cheat notes. Simply brutal.
Es la leche.
Hey, did you hear Valley FM's back?
That's groovy.
Psst. Hey you. Yes, you. The one who's hearing this. Is your backpack too heavy? Your back hurts, you have bad posture, and you also feel like you get smaller every time you carry it? Say goodbye to all these problems with our new robot, the multifunctional charger. It has a platform that will carry your backpack without you noticing. It also comes with a built-in system that will straighten your back in 3 weeks of continuous use. Request it right now for only €120. And if you're one of the first 5 to call, we will send you the 300-page manual with all its functions at half of price. Do not miss out on this unique offer.
Are you tired of having to stop the radio or your music when you are into a parking or just when you remain without connection? Well, it's over because from now on, with Spotify Premium, you won't have to worry about that. You will only have to enjoy your music and that of others, as you like. Try it free 1 month. If it convinces you, for only €5 a month, it will be yours. Don't waste your time. The good music awaits you.
Aren't you tired of the clothes in your wardrobe that you no longer use? The ones that take away space for other new clothes? Well, the new Vinted platform, an expert in trends, is responsible for ensuring a safe and effective purchase and sale of your favorite outfits. We have a large number of users with whom you can chat throughout the page and agree on the price that you choose. Unlike other companies specialized in the same subjects, we facilitate your work, carrying out our shipping to avoid confusions. What are you waiting for? Replacing and saving your purchase has never been so easy. Been dead, if you want something, look it up.
Valley FM. Everything the light touches is the valley, 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 valley.
Do you hate shopping and having to buy many different colored t-shirts? Because here we bring you a color themed t-shirt for every day.
Do you think your parents might kill you if they go to your tutorial? Do you want to be able to leave early whenever you want? Then you should hire our services. We offer actors to play your mother or father and go to your tutorials instead of your real ones. And give you fake permission to leave early. Only for a small fee. Call us.
Valley FM. It's not the Valley of the Fallen, it's the Valley of the Rockers.
Are you tired of watching Netflix alone? Did you cry watching Monsters Inc? Do you want an Emma Watson, Scarlett Johansson in your life? Do you spend more time in the friend zone than in your own home? Then download Salupa, a dating app for El Valle students. With this app, you will find your own Kate Beckett. Salupa, the best choice for your lonely life.
The Savage Madrid is back one more year, and this time better and bigger than ever. If you have never come, you should do it without even thinking about it. This edition would be held in October, on the 4th and 5th. The schedule will cover from 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. This means that you will have the privilege of enjoying more than 16 hours of your favorite music, live and without interruptions. This year you will be able to hear singers like Funzo and Baby Loud, Cruz Cafuné, Cace or Arce. Don't think it twice and buy your tickets that are already on sale. Remember, Savage Madrid.
Hi, I'm Jaisa. Today I am going to introduce you amazing products. These are the new headbands. They are in many different colors and they also are perfect for any occasion that you want to put it. They are very comfortable.
Are you tired of your backpack of always? Here you have a purchase for a brand new backpack every day.
Tired of leaving school and having to take the bus? Do not suffer anymore. Now, with our premium limousine service, you can go home comfortably, and the best thing is that you will not have to share a seat with anyone. Before, at 50 euros a month, now only at 49,99. Do not miss this incredible offer. Call now and get your premium limousine service.
You're listening to Valley FM.
Are you tired of watching Netflix alone? Did you cry watching The Kissing Booth? Do you want a Marco Diaz or Adriana Grest in your life? Do you spend more time in the friend zone than in your own home? Then download Salupa, a dating app for El Valle students. With this app, you will find your own Noah Flynn. Salupa, the best choice for your lonely life.
Hi, I'm Jaisa. Today I am going to introduce you amazing products. These are the new headbands. They are in many different colors and they also are perfect for any occasion that you want to put it. They are very comfortable.
The Savage Madrid is back one more year, and this time better and bigger than ever. If you have never come, you should do it without even thinking about it. This edition would be held in October, on the 4th and 5th. The schedule will cover from 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. This means that you will have the privilege of enjoying more than 16 hours of your favorite music, live and without interruptions. This year you will be able to hear singers like Funzo and Baby Loud, Cruz Cafuné, Cace or Arce. Don't think it twice and buy your tickets that are already on sale. Remember,
right, we're back from the break for the playground. As advertised in the description of the video, you can find a schedule with a timetable with what is going on that day. Yeah, I apologize one more time for not turning on my microphone right before Sarah, and for 20 minutes during Sarah's space today in the show. I was trying to recollect now in the break if I'd said something that was that was worth mentioning. The only thing, some people have texted me saying they'd like to hear about that time where I was dumped. Well, basically, to make a long story short, I was dumped before we even started dating, which is very, very embarrassing. I think I met this girl in I was 16 or 17 years old. I think it was in second of baccalaureate, and there was this girl who needed help with. She obviously that was the excuse. She said she needed help with syntax in Spanish, which I was an ace at. Sorry, but it's the truth. At the time, I was really good at that. So I was helping her with that, private tutoring her and everything, and she expressed how she liked me, etc. So and she liked me for a time, and then after that, she told me she wasn't ready for a relationship, which was very confusing. But at the time, obviously, as a teenager, I didn't take it well. So it was now it's easy to talk about it now and to laugh at it, but at the time it was it was painful. Because as we were saying, Sarah and I were talking about, when you when people break up with you, you tend to think that it's your fault, and you start to look for things that you could have done better, etc., which is bullshit. Sometimes you have done things wrong and you deserve it, but let's try not to torture ourselves with that, shall we? Next up, my first of batch B students, which they should be ready to go. Kieran is going to. I anticipated this this morning. Kieran is going to ask them. Kieran and myself, obviously, will be in the conversation, but we will ask them what to watch. Really, what's hot now? What's worth watching on Netflix or on any other platform these days. Good morning. Hello, Joao.
Good morning.
And hello, Alice. How's it going?
Hi. It's going, I guess.
It's going. Yeah. That's like your signature greeting, I think. You've always...
Well, it's always going.
Yeah.
Until the day I die.
What's that?
When I come to haunt this class. And when you ask
please don't
how
be
we're
creepy.
doing, I'll say it's not going anymore.
No, please. Don't say that. Let's not talk about grim things.
No, don't worry about it.
If you got, yeah. I love your black humor, by the way. I never told you this, but I love that you, I think you and I understand each other very well with that. I don't know if you guys were listening to the show in the previous hour.
No, we were in class.
Better, because I messed up big time, and for 20 minutes straight, I was talking to Sara. Someone who
I read it right now in the comment.
Yeah. And I didn't, and I forgot to turn on my microphone, which means
they were only hearing Sara.
Yeah, she could hear me because we were having a phone conversation, but I wasn't broadcasting my voice, which means half of what we were saying was not being heard by the listeners. And we had, I'm sorry to say, but we had many, and they were cut down to half with that blooper of mine. So yeah. Way to go, Ruben. Anyway. how have you been keeping these this week? Are you not like super tired and would rather this whole thing ended? And I don't mean the radio show. I mean the.
I am tired.
Uh-huh.
I am stressed. I want to die.
Why are you stressed now? Do you have subjects?
I have like a lot of well, I had to do a lot of work for raising my marks.
Uh-huh. And you've been under a lot of pressure.
And it was like yesterday I had to give to send my teachers like a lot of work. So I had so I was like
all day working.
I've been this whole week doing work.
Yeah.
And finally I have like only 2 things left, but I really have to do
a mountain of work. It's
2,000 words.
Oh my god.
And I actually have to finish it in this class because it has to be uploaded at 12.
When you say this class, you mean right now on the show, during our show?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's funny. So get started if you want. Go ahead and get started, but don't hang up, and I'll keep checking.
No. That's what I wanted to do. Just
great.
Be doing that and.
Yeah, like I said, we understand each other pretty well. Every now and then, I'll keep asking you how you're doing with your work. Hello, Carol and Fano. How's it going?
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
I'm a little bit asleep.
Really? Did you just wake up?
In the playground, I slept a little bit.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Yeah. A power nap, they call it. 10 minutes. If you sleep for 10 minutes and then come back on very, very strongly.
Well, not strongly.
Anyway, so today,
Ruben, I wanted to ask you first about the marks.
The marks?
Yes, they are finished and everything.
They are finished and everything. Hello.
Hi, gang.
In fact,
can you say that?
Tell you your marks right now in public, like for all of the world to see, to hear.
Yeah.
I don't think it's such a good idea. I mean, I'd love to, but
there is no shame in our marks.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something between a 0 and a 10, I think it was, wasn't it?
But
yeah.
Can you put it in OneNote?
Yeah, maybe I can do that. Maybe it's safer to play it like that. You know what we can do? We can, because obviously Kieran and myself had like another idea for this. So what I can do is I can post your marks in the chat, maybe. Yeah. And what you can do if you want is you can choose to react to them or not live on the show. You can go, oh Ruben, thank you very much. Yeah,
he's going for it today. Anything for content. Anything for content.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah. If you want to make some sort of mention to my family members, my ancestors, obviously.
Yes. What you're made from?
My what? Sorry.
No, what you're made of.
Oh.
Exactly.
You're such a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Materials. We can talk about materials. You can do that as well, but
you can put a topic and we practice that topic.
you can always remember that. Always remember that next year I might be your teacher again. Yeah. Might be. So you never know.
That's a problem.
Don't be bad about Vallecas, guys.
Exactly.
we won last night with a beautiful goal from Advincula. A beautiful goal.
It's
sailing into the top corner, 20 yards out, sailing into the top corner. Very enjoyable moment. Football's back, and Rayo are back too.
I don't think my students actually know. All of them know where I'm from. Actually, in Madrid, I am from Vallecas, which is why Kieran was mentioning that. So
yesterday, Rayito won.
Yes, that's what he's talking about. That's what Kieran's talking about. What was his name? This guy's name who scored?
Advíncula.
He can barely shoot, and he scored a nice goal after 2 shots flying over the bar. He put a nice one in the top corner. It was a good finish.
Yeah,
it was enjoyable.
I'm sorry to say, but I'm not in favor of rehashing the league now and playing through the summer. And I'll tell you why. I like football. Well, I tolerate football. Let's say I like it, but I have come to like other sports more than football. Let's say, especially the merit of the sports that I've come to know. Let's say, and I'll just leave it there because I don't want to start a debate about that. But I think every sport has its own season for a reason. And I just rhymed that.
Yeah, that's true.
And the summer is for the Olympics, which sadly this year won't happen. The Tour de France, for example, the World Cup, the World Finals in swimming, and all those sports I love very much as well. So if you the same thing applies to the NBA. If you now move them over to the summer just because the fans have been let down over the quarantine period, etc., then you are minoritizing even more those other sports. You are making them more invisible than they already are.
This is true. True. It's a good point. Plus, I mean, football's everywhere. But I just I love football so much.
Yeah,
it's my thing. I mean, I played it. It was my sport. I did it semi-pro for a year and a half.
Football?
True, you said that.
Yeah, it's my thing. Although there's the horrendous diving that goes on now makes me pissed off. It's Mushu. What's that? Yeah, you're right. Diving is bad, says Mushu. So there we go. That's it, guys. We were going to talk about movies, guys. We were going to talk all about movies. Well, I think this is how many we're going to have. It looks like it. We're
probably, yeah. It's how many we've
losing people fast. We're losing people fast, guys. Have you guys seen a movie called Ex Machina?
No, but I think I heard of it. I don't know why, it seems familiar.
When I was thinking about this, I thought I want to talk to you about this movie because there's loads of little themes that come up as a result of this movie that are interesting. Because in this movie, a guy performs a Turing test. You know what that is?
A what test? Sorry?
A Turing test.
Oh,
Alan Turing is a guy who he created the first computers and stuff. British guy, really amazing guy. Long story, but he castrated himself and various things. Horrible stuff because he was treated terribly by the British government because he was gay in the 1950s, and he was complicated. Anyway, he's the guy that invented and came up with the idea of computers, was the code breaker that helped win the war for Britain. Amazing, interesting guy. But he also came up with a test for how to tell if artificial intelligence has, how do you describe it? Whether you realize you're talking to artificial intelligence or not. Like, basically, and whether it's grown consciousness.
Isn't that the guy played by Benedict Cumberbatch in what's that film called?
The Imitation Game.
The Imitation Game, yes.
Yeah, that's him.
Turing,
really interesting guy. He ended up in a really bad way because of all the drugs they gave him, and ended up almost like hurting himself, and then died basically broken a few years later because Britain thought he was in those days it was illegal to be gay. So they basically destroyed his life. But anyway, this film has an interesting idea about AI and artificial intelligence. And I was making up some debate stuff to talk about next week with some different guys. And I was thinking about asking you guys what you thought about that. What do you think about artificial intelligence? Positive or negative?
I think right now it has a positive impact, but it may destroy us all in the future.
I think it's going to be like Skynet in Terminator. And they're going to
I haven't watched any of those films. I'm sorry.
Terminator.
You're probably right. Yeah, I got too much time on my hands. You see, I'm watching them at night now, getting myself thinking about a dystopian future. Terminator it's the same idea. We always, with films, it seems like something about humanity. We're really worried about robots taking over in the future. But the one I recommend is Ex Machina. Is a genuinely smart film, very well made, and super interesting. And it's like, what happens if we make artificial intelligence? We're getting better and better, and at what point does if a robot or artificial intelligence gets consciousness, when do they become something of value that we can't just destroy, you know? And they have humanity. What is humanity? It was a question about that. It's a good film. But if you haven't seen it, then screw you guys.
As in what? If you haven't seen it, screw you. I suppose
Well,
is.
fuck you too, I guess.
Whoa. We said screw. Well, let's leave it as screw.
You were waiting for that, Chad.
Screw, sod.
It's just a
That's
strong
okay.
word.
Yeah, I was being silly. I'm sorry. We're at the end of the year. We're having some fun, guys. But if you haven't seen it, go see it and come back and talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, go see it and don't come back till you haven't seen it. Like, till you have seen it.
No, literally, we'll be waiting. It's YouTube live, so we have time on our hands, as Kieran says. We can. There's nothing better to do.
We just sit on YouTube all the time, especially Ruben. I just send jingles. I send jingles to him to put on the show, and he only thinks about the show. His whole life is Valley FM. It's his whole existence. What have you been watching, guys? What movies have you been watching in the lockdown?
I've been watching shows, not movies.
Okay, what shows?
I've been watching all the shows I used to watch when I was like 10. And then I am rewatching Castle for like the 100th time.
Castle, yeah. The detective.
I want to see Castle. I don't know any website where I can see it, and I love it.
He's a writer, and you broke my little heart.
Castle, you can find it in Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. I think Giles looking for a free option, aren't you, mate? Not that we're allowed to promote such things.
Kieran.
Yes.
Moving backwards, I just searched for Ex Machina, and yes, I've seen it.
You've seen it?
We saw it in Sex of Primary with Rocío as...
Primary with Rocío.
Sex of Primary and Rocío, the two words.
No, sorry. I don't remember the exact grade. I always confuse myself with some grades, but we saw that film with Rocío, and I remember seeing it, and we saw it in 2 days or something like that. And
Rocío was your tutor in second.
That kind of film was hard to me.
Rocío was your tutor in second of SO.
That's what it was.
In fact, Rocío was not in the school before you were in second of SO. So that was her first year in the school. So so it can't be in sixth of primary.
Kudos to her for showing it.
Rocío Pérez is a former student, I was going to say, teacher in the school. She used to teach maths. We'd like to say hello to her wherever she is. And
Andalusia, I think.
No, I meant right now if she was in the toilet at home. And if you have been if you're a fan of the show, you will remember her because she gave an interview to the show in our first season 2 years ago. So look it up. I think her name is in the title. I think it's episode 11, I want to say, or 12. So yeah.
Very good. What did you think of it, Jal? Do you remember anything about it?
Can you repeat the movie?
We're talking about Ex Machina.
No, we did not see that with Rocío.
Yes.
We've got a debate on whether we saw it. Who did we see it with? Who did we see it with? I mean, it's clearly a 15+ movie, so it's classic Spain for them to show you it when you were 13. Classic. We always show you guys films. In Britain, it would be a massive uproar, which is an interesting cultural thing. There'd be a massive uproar about showing a kid anything that was above their age category. But here, stick it on. Don't worry, it's a horror movie. A horror movie, stick it on in English. No problem. It's interesting.
It is true.
Nobody really cares about these things. It's amazing.
I think we do care, but we're more lenient with it. I think.
I think it's good. The truth is, kids watch them anyway. I always watched everything that was the things that you want to watch and things that you can't watch, right?
Yeah, I think that's the notion behind it, that people just assume that because they can have access to them anyway, either at home with their parents or on their own if they do some little research. That you might as well show them in the school, or at least that's how I think about it. So yeah, but yeah, some people care more than others about that, about age restrictions and stuff.
I'm not bothered. I'm not the type that bothers about that. I just thought it was interesting. It was one of those things I noticed when I came over. A more relaxed approach.
I remember when we were in like 5th of primary.
Yes.
That they played Little Miss Sunshine. And there was a parent that like absolutely revolted and like hated the school for it, because there was this one scene where the grandpa took drugs or something like that. And I remember it being like a huge thing back then, like, oh my God, how do you show this to our kids? Are you crazy? And I don't know, I thought it was funny because it was like just a stupid scene.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be taken as a serious thing, I guess, probably. I guess that teacher probably didn't realise that scene was going to be in a film called Little Miss Sunshine.
No.
But yeah, he or she, probably she, because primary is mostly she's. That's another debate topic. Why is primary so feminized across the world? Because it's the same in Britain. It's almost all women that work in primary, not enough men.
I think it's the canon. Well, I don't want to again start a debate about this, but I think it's the that goes to show how prejudiced sometimes society is towards making kids think that certain jobs are better than others, and that they are according to their gender or according to their economical status, etc., that they should have one job or another, when every job by definition is necessary, on the strength that if it still exists, if it still has if there's still bless you, if there's still trading in that context or area, is because people want to, it's moving money. So every job is necessary, equally necessary as I don't think some jobs are more important than others, to be honest. But anyway,
it's true. And also people assign a value, yes, because of the economic pay that you get from the job, which has got nothing to do with it, really. What do we need more than anything now is cleaners and people that work in hospitals, and they're the heroes now. But anyway, what have you been watching? Castle. What's Castle like?
Castle is this show in which a writer who has, by the way,
I know what is Castle.
I don't know what Castle is. No.
I'm kidding.
It's like a bad adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. Very bad.
I remember seeing it. Ruben said that, and I think I remember dismissing it as one that looked like one of those classic American kind of cheesy things, like the Prison Break ones and all that. That it just don't appeal to me. So sell it to me. Tell me why I should watch it, because it sounds rubbish.
Listen to one thing. Just one thing, because Ruben, I'm going to find you and kill you.
I'm so happy we're in quarantine.
He's a writer.
Sorry?
He's a writer. He's not a detective. He has no idea what he's doing.
Yes, but
well, already it sounds really rubbish, even more than before. Sorry, I'm in a mood of being cheeky today. Tell me why I should watch a thing about a writer who lives in a castle.
He doesn't. He does not. His name is Castle, apparently.
I know. I'm being fishy. I'm playing, guys.
A writer who lives
in a castle. He writes books. He goes to sleep at night. Why do I want to watch this?
He's like, the first episode is because a mother is like obsessed with him, and so he writes.
Would you be obsessed with a guy who lives in a castle and writes books?
Yeah, he writes crime novels. So he's copying the crimes from his book into like real life.
Wait! So I thought he wrote books. I thought he wrote books about male primary teachers.
No.
Almost, but not quite.
The social and societal issues
being murdered. which is why there are so few.
All you need to do is go on to Valley FM if you want to hear have an interview, listen to an interview with a writer.
That's true. We mentioned that.
Just gonna plug that there.
Yeah. An interview with Esther Gines. It's also in one of the titles. Show number, I want to say 20, 21. I don't remember. 21, I think it is. Yes, it's Thursday today, and it played on Tuesday, so that was, yeah.
How many series of Castle have there been?
8.
8 series of a guy in a castle?
With almost 21 or 22 episodes each.
21 or 22 episodes each? The Americans did series.
The first season has 10, and then it like escalates quickly, but it escalates.
See, the thing that made this series popular, I think, is that at some point in the series, I think it's the first or second season, the guy who lives in the castle falls in love with a woman who doesn't live in his castle, and so he
just
would
looks from the window. He sees this blooming woman, and the 8 episodes of him spying on a woman. This is hashtag me too, guys. Hashtag me too. World's moved on.
You're confusing. You're mixing shows. You're putting some you there.
We're just being silly.
We're just being silly, guys.
No, but I mean, there's an actual show that is like that. A guy that just eavesdrop a woman until he like kind of falls in love.
That's called Rear Window. That's a Hitchcock great. That's one of Hitchcock's greatest movies. That's not a show. That's one of the classic movies.
But
no, that actually happens in the show. Yeah.
Oh right, what's this show called?
You.
Me. It's called You. It's called Me. It's called Me, or it's called You. Me or you?
That is one to watch. That is one to watch.
Sorry, I'm being silly today. It's one to watch.
All of you.
Okay, You. It's called You. So I'm going to watch the thing about the man in a castle who sits there and falls in love with a woman from his window, and then I'm going to watch a thing about me.
But you, yes.
The thing is that he kind of falls in love, but doesn't really. Since the first episode, the show wouldn't happen without it. Like he meets her and just like feels attracted to her or whatever, and he follows her around basically the whole show. He's just like a little pet that is following her around all the time.
And you like the man, or you realize that he's a creepy guy straight away?
No. He's a nice dude. Like he's got a lot of contacts. So
he's not nice.
He's not a nice dude. I was gonna say he's a
fucking psychopath.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the series is all about. He's got mental issues.
Talking about Castle. It's very similar. Okay.
No, now we're talking about You. I think we're talking about us.
Very quickly.
This is us. That's another series. That's another show. This is us. If you watch that. But
Matty can talk about This Is Us. Matty loves This Is Us.
Oh right.
Yes, but this is You now. This is okay. This Is Us is for Matty, but this is You now. We're talking about You.
Okay, live on Valley FM.
It's not the Valley of the Fallen.
It's the Valley. Yeah, have you heard any jingles? Have you heard any of my jingles, guys, on Valley FM?
They don't listen to my show. They don't listen to Valley FM at all.
You don't listen, guys. That's very rude. I made a whole bunch of jingles.
My grandma to tune in.
The way Hannah puts it, they say we are the stars of the show. So it's like those actors who never go to the cinema to see their own films. They just they play them. They star them, and then they don't watch them.
I do think they have to go and watch it at least once because they should go to the premiere.
That's precisely my point. That's my point with
should be watching it.
Yeah.
Plus, it increases our numbers.
About a girl that wrote a song for a movie, and she was like, "I just 2 days ago watched this movie," and somebody answered, "You literally have a song talking about the movie."
Which
and she
series
said, "No,
is
but
this?
I didn't watch it." I didn't watch it. They told me what I had to write about, and I wrote about that, and they played it, and I never watched it.
This is the plot of which series again?
Which series?
She's talking about a series now. She's talking about I guess. The series now.
No, she's talking about actual life.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
Have you seen the movie Her?
Yes.
Because that's a good movie.
That's also a personal pronoun. this is a very good way to revise personal pronouns. For anybody who is in 5th of primary, cover your ears every time we say bad words, such as screw and, things that escalated.
I'm into in terms of putting things into the wall. I'm renovating my house.
We talked about that in the previous hour with Sara. Yeah, we talked about renovating houses.
It's on fire at the moment. Sarah's putting a lot of effort into the radio.
That's another show. White people renovating houses. Fake show from South Park. Within South Park,
there's a lot of
real show.
I've seen that one.
There's a lot of type of those shows. Like there's I renovate your house, or I sell it. We are brothers. We renovate your house.
Yes, exactly. Brothers renovate your house. A husband and wife team renovate your house.
Yeah. That's the joke. That's the joke behind it on South Park. They go white people renovating houses because and then at some point in that episode they get sued by someone who claims they had the same name for their show and they start going, but the claim is that the name of the show is racist, and so because it encourages white people only to watch that show, and they claim that all the other names were already taken. There's no other possible sentence with renovating houses after it, so they have to go with white people renovating houses.
Oh, it's such a good show, South Park. I watched a series of that recently. It's so well made. It works on so many levels once you actually watch it. And I always try and get people to give it a chance because they think it's just silly. No, it's political, it's social,
it's satirical. Yes. It's very. It has it all. Anyway, we're not biased towards some shows or others. We're just being silly, really.
Like, I understand that you don't like Castle because it's like really typical American show about police.
People living in a castle.
Like, it has its subplot of the detective, the woman, like, she has her problems with her mother that was dead, and like, it's the government, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's really an average.
I agree with you, Carol, and I will say something about that. In fact, to be fair, obviously to Castle, the show, I haven't watched it. I mean, I haven't been following it. I have seen it a couple of times, but there's some fragments of it. But I haven't really been a regular viewer, so I cannot really judge. However, I will say that for example, I think there's a little bit in every show, because the intention is always, to do a good show. And even though not every show is for everyone, and even though, let's just be honest, some shows are just crap, there's always something, even if you move the crap around, you can find something hidden underneath. Like, for example, and I'm gonna get in trouble with this because Maria is listening to this, but there's this show called Outlander.
Yes, I know it.
Which is I am at a loss for words to describe this show, but I think it's the most ridiculous show I have seen in my life. However, certain parts of the show actually surprise you because they include historical details that are actually quite accurate. So there's something to get even from.
There's a little bit of merit in every. A little bit of merit in every show. That is
There's other shows, in my opinion, like Riverdale, that they just are crap in its entirety. Like, I don't know. Like, the first season of Riverdale, it was good, you can say. Maybe some people don't like it, but then it just went into.
Is that the high school kind of like thing?
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch that because it sounds rubbish.
It starts having like mystical things, mythological.
Oh my God. I hate when they do that.
Like, mostly everyone started being like an only child or with one brother or sister. And then we're in the fourth season, and I think each main character has at least 3 brothers.
Don't you think that's lazy writing?
I agree with Carol.
Don't you think that's lazy writing then? No. I think I agree with you guys as well. That's just lazy writing. It's like, what will we do? What will we do in the next series? Well, let's his brother comes from California and what else? It was a dream. It's like, don't you think that's just lazy? Lazy writing.
Lazy writing.
I'm talking about lazy writing and stuff.
Like they know that works because
Yeah.
people are still watching it, and like it's so crappy that
It's
a lot of
because the people are good
comment on
looking in
it,
it,
and
probably.
it gives them more fame, and they continue doing the show.
I also think that I'm sick of superheroes. I'm sick of superheroes. They're everywhere. And I really think that that's lazy writing as well from Hollywood. Superhero here, superhero there. A show in which normal people become superheroes, or superheroes that are really sad and have mental, psychological problems. Oh, superheroes everywhere. Superheroes are really doing my head in. Why do we have an obsession with superheroes?
Yeah. Well,
As a society, why don't we talk about normal people? You know?
The worst part of the superhero series is that the CGI is horrible. Like really bad. So if the writing is bad, the CGI is horrible, and it's the same plot over and over again.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna intervene here because I think Aitana had something to say, and then Elisa had something to say, and we've
sorry,
we haven't let them. Sorry, Aitana, you were going to say something.
I agree with Carol about Riverdale because it started like a normal high school
story,
show, and then mystical creatures appear. Murders. I don't know. It's like a mess.
Yeah. They lose sight, I think, sometimes of what they. It happens. Is what Kieran's saying. It's just sloppy script writing.
Drivel.
Is when you just don't care. Anything goes. You think to yourself as a writer, I guess. Well, we need an audience for this. So depending on what works best, I suppose they analyze episodes, and when they see a peak in how many people watched a certain scene or YouTube, maybe they can use for the little scenes. I suppose they go, oh, this works. The aliens worked. So let's just pretend that everything was invented by aliens in the first place. So I don't know.
Let's just invent a whole episode around a good-looking character that everybody fancies. These shows are always like that. These teen shows. I was watching with Esso this one about, what was it, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, or something like that. And the only reason it's popular is because there's a guy that they all fancy in it.
Yeah. Centineo. Everybody loves the guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then that was it.
We will watch it.
Yeah, the boys wanted to watch superhero. I mean, it was sadly very gender specific in Esso. That's what happens still. But boys wanted to watch a superhero thing, and the girls wanted to watch this show. And I thought, it's a real rubbish that everybody's watching. Did I watch this rubbish when I was a kid? Probably I did.
It's a way to keep feeding prejudice and it's terrible. And even when they try to turn it around, like in the newest Marvel films, the newest superhero films, they try to change the canon into the opposite and show, like, for example, a number of female warriors, for example, that want to just, I don't know. For me, it's just going on the same thing. The EC authority by force sort of thing. It's because that woman is strong that she deserves respect, not because she's a woman. But anyway.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson, right, or some people like that are in it. I mean, I'm a big fan of Scarlett Johansson being in anything, really, as an excuse for her to be in anything because she's brilliant. But I prefer other films that she's been in. She's in a film called Marriage Story, guys. Do you know about that film?
No, I actually haven't heard about it.
Well, tell me, out of a percentage, how many of you cretinos have actually watched this film?
You told me, go watch it. So I went and I watched it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well done. I'm guessing that less than 10 of you actually watched it.
To watch it.
You haven't watched it yet?
I am really lazy when watching movies. I don't know why. I know I want to watch a movie, but then I don't do it because I say I don't have time to watch it because I don't like leaving the movies half.
I know what you mean.
The same.
When it's your work for the last 3 months, probably a good idea to watch the movie.
Yes, but then there's other movies I wanted to watch.
True.
No.
But it's a great movie. It's really good.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying.
Well, also, I suppose, given to be fair, it probably doesn't relate to you guys as much yet as it would for other people.
Elisa was trying to say something. I don't know what.
Yeah. Elisa.
That Carol would rather watch 16 seasons of a show, Grey's Anatomy, rather than watching a film 2 hours.
No. You're really confused. I finished Grey's Anatomy on February. I finished it in months.
I'm not saying you would rather right now.
I'm watching other movies.
You prefer, as a general basis, to watch a show that has a shit ton of seasons rather than watching a film.
You were just watching Grey's Anatomy for McDreamy. That's what they call him, McDreamy, the doctor.
But I think there's there's a point in how Carol watches it. Well, I'm just going to take Carol's side because I am more or less the same kind of viewer. I think these days.
I am too, but I like watching with Carol.
I think these I think these days the rise of platforms such as Netflix, HBO, and what have you, all of those things that, to be fair, had been around for a while, but had not sort of hit it as bigly as that, is because we don't have, with the type of lives that we lead nowadays, we don't have 2 hours to spare basically on a normal day. Maybe so sometimes either you know if you're at home and you want to watch something. Perhaps for many people, it's easier to watch something for some 40-50 minutes that has continuity within the next episode, and you can, if you are tired or if something comes up, you can leave in mid episode. Whereas with a film, you cannot do that, or you would rather not do that because coming to the I don't know. I think a film creates more of an atmosphere that. If you stop that atmosphere and go and come back to it later, it's hard to kind of
you lose something. You lose something. It's true. And these little bitty 50-minute, 45-minute shows, you get to dip in and out, and you get like a thriller at the end, like a little climax, and then you can go away and you can come back and watch it again. Yeah, I think the world is becoming a world of shows, and that's the thing. You guys have grown up with that, but when Sopranos and stuff started. It was like the first really, really popular shows that everybody watched. The ones that actually there was no such thing as a show, to be honest, that was united a whole bunch of people. They just didn't have it. Shows were just not a big thing when I grew up.
Shows week by week. Like, I think everyone here has seen Disney Channel, like Askip has seen Disney Channel week by week. They released new episodes and like, they had a thing that it was called We Love Viernes, and I have watched shows week by week, but now I do watch it. Like, I have not seen TV, like real TV, for a long time.
Me too, but I still watch them week by week because, like for instance, HBO releases an episode each week, but I still don't watch actual TV. Because it has ads.
Yes,
I know this is the new generation. This is the way people watch.
For example, Elisa, you're talking about shows like I don't know, like Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, it's not HBO's, it's Adult Swim. So they release it on Sundays, but HBO can release it on Mondays.
It used to be on Netflix for a while.
It's ridiculous. What they've done with that Rick and Morty is stupid. Like, they cut the series in half and like brought it out over like a year, and they took like 3 years to make the next series. I mean, it really frustrated me because I wanted to watch it now.
What happened to Rick and Morty?
You can watch it on Netflix. Like season 4
it's
is
in
going
HBO.
to be.
Yeah, I have it.
Tuesday comes on Tuesday on Netflix because I checked it just the other day, wanting to watch it on Netflix, a new series, and it's coming on Tuesday. Yeah, on Netflix.
But Carol, I am talking about Legacies.
Oh, Legacies.
Oh shit, that was
HBO. It's CW.
What's Legacies?
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Vampire Diaries?
Yep.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say before. That show
and a spin-off that it's called The Originals, and Legacies is the spin-off of the spin-off of.
No,
Is
Legacies
it not?
is spin-off of both
For
of
people
them.
who fancy vampires and stuff.
Legacies is like all the kids from the Originals and Vampire Diaries. Like those kids get themselves into trouble because, like, why not? And then they make the show.
That's it. That you make a show about the kids getting in trouble.
It's like-
Isn't it for people who fancy vampires though? Because there's always a generation of kids and they all fancy vampires. Every generation has
they
it.
have vampires, witches, phoenix.
It was the same like a generation ago with that film Twilight.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit, Twilight.
You know, there's always people that love vampires. For some reason, people love vampires.
I really like vampires, but the vampires in Twilight, it's like Tinkerbell.
No,
They're not very tough.
I disagree. I have to disagree. Twilight as a book, it's a really good book. Like they are awesome. But Kristen Stewart is just annoyingly annoying.
You don't see much of her anymore. She disappeared for a while.
Well, she made a career after a fashion, I think.
Like she doesn't do anything. The whole movie is just her with her mouth slightly open.
Slightly open.
She makes that facial expression, so.
She just flops around looking for Robert Pattinson.
She just like shakes the bottle of ketchup trying to get it out, and it's like very stupid. I don't know. I hate her. I'm sorry.
It's like the last scene from the last movie. I remember it very well because I was like, "What the fuck?" They are like laying on the ground, like surrounded by flowers and all that.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "I love you so much," and
the last movie.
They're like confessing their utmost love, like they couldn't love anyone more than they do, and she looks almost pained.
Yeah.
She's like a zombie.
She's obsessed with the vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like each year, I see it more. That she's completely obsessed.
Do you know who's made a good career? Robert Pattinson has really made a good career now. He's making good choices of movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was rubbish and now he's great. And now he's Batman soon as well. Not that I like superhero things, but...
No, but like...
He really trash talks about Twilight. Like, you can see some interviews. He has been asked about Twilight and he doesn't have a beautiful memory about it.
No, none of them do. No, Harry Potter doesn't even... Daniel Radcliffe is annoyed at his author now because she said something.
Oh yeah, he is. I've read the tweet. No, it's not a tweet.
Really?
It's
that's all.
Yeah, he gave like a public message about what J.K. Rowling had been saying about trans people.
Yeah.
And
she kind of said that they weren't
like that,
really...
and he was like real nice. But
yeah, she dismissed something to do with trans people, which isn't like her. She's very she's usually very into like thinking about her politics and stuff. But she had a strong view on this, and he basically said shut up in a way, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I thought you were going to say that he sort of regrets that he was in the Harry Potter saga, but I was going to say and for Robert Pattinson as well. I think they should all be thankful that they were put on the map, as it were, thanks to those films, because no one can, even though it's easy now to say, I mean, our mindsets have changed, the way we see films has changed, obviously, so it's easy now to criticize something with hindsight, but at the time, sagas were very, very popular. I mean, you had we'd had the Lord of the Rings first. I would say. Well, obviously we had previous sagas, but like sci-fi sagas, let's say. And then there came Harry Potter, and then Twilight was like the natural next step because it was a series of books that was made into films, like the other two, and a lot of people went to see those films. To the cinemas, I think, and also
teenage fiction, right? Teenage fiction was
that's right,
and it's true. They can easily say, "Oh, I think this is terrible," but how many actors are there in the world who never make it? And the only reason he's made it is because he's been in something big. And now he's able to do these little films. He's in a brilliant film I saw with
William
Dafoe. Yeah, it's mad. Totally bonkers. Did you see it?
No, I've heard about it. Like,
it's totally bonkers, but it's just great. The two of them are great acting in it. Absolute mental film. Just nothing happens apart from they're on the lighthouse, and it's the two of them acting with each other and nothing else. And they're just, you can see that he's just as good as Willem Dafoe, who's been a great actor for a long time and was in many films that I love, including one about Van Gogh. If you've seen that one, which is brilliant, and he's brilliant in that. Willem Dafoe, he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
He is.
Great. That was very interesting. But I think
it was a very random, wasn't it, guys?
Great. It was great. I don't know how the audience took to that, because sometimes we were all speaking on top of each other. But it was honestly a lot of fun. It was really good time well spent, as they say.
It's my essay.
Oh, you liked it? Did you enjoy it? You got to swear?
What?
You could swear.
I was talking about an essay I had to do.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you about your essay. How did you finish it?
Yeah, 15 minutes to 12.
Wow, that's brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
Unless it's rubbish, in which case it's not well done at all.
But you can turn it into a series, we've learned.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
If it doesn't pass as an essay, it can go on Netflix. Just send it to Netflix. They'll accept anything now. You've seen the amount of stuff on Netflix. Yeah. They'll accept any old rubbish.
Why is everybody so desperate to take shows out right now? Because it makes no sense. Because by the time they will actually put them to the public, this whole thing will be over.
You mean the quarantine thing, the lockdown?
Yeah.
Well, people used to, maybe you don't remember because it feels like a long time, but people used to watch series before the lockdown, and I think it's safe to say we still watch things.
During the quarantine, they have accepted a shit ton of things. Filming.
It's true. That's true.
I think maybe they're preparing in case there's another quarantine to release all of that and everybody watching Netflix. But it makes no sense because we are supposed to not to come back to what we were.
Yes. Do you know what I think you could sum this conversation up as? We want more quality and less quantity, right?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We've got a million shows now. I don't even know where to start now with shows. It's you can get any genre of any kind of show. A guy in a castle, love falls in love with someone, and 8 series of this, or a superhero has a child which has some mental problems. Oh, poor sad child, but also then learns how to be a superhero themselves, or someone who learns sex education from their mum. Every show, every type of genre, there's one of everything.
Good, yeah.
Have you seen Lucifer?
Sorry?
Lucifer, have you seen it?
Oh, I heard it's very good. Yeah, I want to see that.
If you watch Lucifer, you've got to watch Castle. Because it's the same thing, but with
Okay,
demons.
Here we go again with Castle.
Castle is better.
Castle,
anyway, you guys, thank you very much.
Okay.
I hope you guys are all safe in your castles.
Yeah, I'll watch one castle and I'll come back next week to dismantle it. Smash it.
Okay.
I enjoy that much more. I've enjoyed these.
I'm going to find out where you live. Just saying.
Okay.
In a castle.
See you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
My home is my castle.
That was a lot of fun. At least from my perspective. I don't know if it was fun for you guys who are listening. Next up, let's get controversial with Anna and Gala from 4th of SOD. I can't wait to hear what they have to say, honestly. I really love controversy, so it better be good. I think it's going to be good.
Hi everyone, this is our new section. It is called Let's Get Controversial, and we are going to talk mainly about politics and inform you about events currently going on around the world. We attempt to offer a critical view with the minimum prejudices as possible.
As we are offering our opinion, we understand that it might be a little bit biased and that there are many other opinions and points of views. So we invite you to listen and from our opinion and the information we provide, think and reflect to formulate your own opinion, which might be completely different from ours, and that's okay. And personally, I think that is the beauty in debating, hearing and trying to understand other opinions. As we know, opinions are very personal, and we don't want our opinion to get misinterpreted and for you, the audience, to get offended. So today we're going to start our section with three main topics. We are both going to give our personal opinion on them and our point of view. Of course, always justifying what we think and the reasons for our opinion. First of all, we're going to explain and talk about the parental pin. Next up is going to be, we're going to try to answer one of the most important questions in democracy, whether all opinions should be respected or not. And to end, we're going to talk about a hot topic, public healthcare and hypocrisy. All these topics are going to be discussed within two sections, current old-fashioned people and human rights, reality or fiction. Last but not least, we'll end up with some wise quotes. Now, Gala is going to start with our first topic.
Yes, so before starting, I want to warn the audience that I am going to use sarcasm. So if you hear me saying that Abascal is a great person, a better politician, please notice it is just irony. Today, we are going to start with our section, Current Old-Fashioned People, as Anna said. Concretely, we are going to talk about the parental pin. It is a policy proposed by the most modern and regional party of Spain, Vox. By this measure, Vox wants parents to control and decide if their children receive education about non-academic issues. Apparently, it seems reasonable. However, a further criticism leads us to analyze the full repercussions of parental pin. First and foremost, it is naive to think that our children are not going to get influenced by anyone if they don't attend to special classes at school. Human beings are constantly being exposed to stimuli that have a huge influence on them. For instance, TV and written press are capable of changing public opinion and of establishing what it is politically correct. That is why it has been called the fourth power. Our cartoons are full of misogyny and normalize women's humiliation and submission. It would be interesting to ask ourselves if people from Vox are just being naive and haven't thought about this issue or are aware of this fact. I wish I could believe it is because of the first reason. Nonetheless, the following tweet from Vox denies it. Here it is. The parental pin prevents your dirty hands from getting into the student's development with gender ideology. Here, we can observe what is the true intention with this proposal. Moreover, there can be no doubt that teaching our kids basic values in order to have a more equalitarian and fairer society in the future is one of the most beneficial uses we can give to education. Otherwise, we would get stuck in the past and we wouldn't be able to improve. Without this ability of the state, we wouldn't be able to fight crimes like rape or other types. They would only be encouraged since even with courses on equality at our schools, these offenses are big problems today. As Concepcion Arenal said, open schools and prisons will be closed down. This cannot be considered indoctrination. We are just talking about basic ethics. We cannot forget that this measure would allow individuals without any type of education of respect and human rights to interact freely within our society, hurting other people. This policy also involves making lists of people who give courses on tolerance and basic moral issues. We must remember making a list of people was also done in the past. It is not a surprise that people from Vox try to imitate their reference. Nevertheless, they don't ask for the same measures in another non-academic subject compulsory in many schools. Religion. Their double standards don't see any kind of indoctrination on telling very young kids that cannot think and reflect by themselves about what they have to believe and how they have to manage their faith. We can not be disappointed since this is all we can expect from a party that is against abortion and any kind of protection for women. Asking them to be current is too much for their limited reasoning capacity, characteristic of fascists. Anna, what do you think about this issue?
No, I totally agree with you, and I think that every kid that attends school should have the right to learn about human rights, gender ideology, and parents are nobodies to be telling their kids what they should learn and shouldn't learn, because human rights, I feel like everyone should learn what the human rights are, learn about gender ideology and sexualities, and learn about racism and all these different topics. So now we're going to move on. Did you want to say something?
Yes, that is exactly. We are not talking about opinions, ideology. We are talking about basic behavior in our society.
Yeah, I agree. So now we're going to continue with this section, and we're going to talk about a topic that regards opinions. So, as Gala was introducing, whether all opinions should or shouldn't be respected in democracy. So, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, there are no wrong opinions. But I think it's time we take and reflect whether this is really true or not. As far as I'm concerned, there are many opinions and points of views as there are people. So each and every one of us can have a different point of view. However, should all of them be accepted? I took some time and I thought about this, and I came to the conclusion that I personally think not. I feel like everyone obviously has a right to have an opinion, as long as it doesn't dehumanize someone's identity or human rights. Now, this is important because what I'm talking about, for example, is racism isn't an opinion. Neither is homophobia, transphobia, or sexism. You don't just get to agree or disagree about someone's rights and identities. That's something that belongs to them, and you shouldn't give your opinion about it.
I really like what you're saying. You can be against my ideas, but not against me, just because of my likes, race, gender, etc. Hate is definitely not an opinion. Consequently, when Voltaire said, I do not agree with what you have to say, but I'll defend to death your right to say it, everything depends on the kind of opinion we are talking about. Diversity of thoughts is not the same as hate, and usually many people just claim to be the ones who defend freedom of expression, while the truth is that they just want to express their opinions, negative opinions about just people, not ideas, which is horrible.
Exactly, I completely agree with you. So yes, all opinions are okay, and I understand that having an opinion and different types of opinions can be very personal, but they must respect humans' rights, and that is something that it's a requirement. And it is obviously very, very, very important in democracy and politics, as it is a field that requires a lot of respect on some topics that might be a little bit touchy and a little bit controversial. However, to be honest, right now I feel like we have leaders around the world that seem to have certain opinions that clearly don't respect human rights. And I feel like that's a mistake. For example, an example right now, which has been going on around the news, is President of the United States, Donald Trump. I mean, I feel like he's never not on the news, but right now he's been showing up a lot. So Donald Trump is not only racist, but also sexist and homophobic. Basically, all of the above. For example, I got a quote here that he said, which is clearly racist. So I'm going to read it to you. So, quote unquote, when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending the best. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they're telling us what we're getting. End of the quote. So this is dehumanizing completely the Mexican population, and it is unacceptable. I put my mind to how there is a president in the 21st century that's allowed to say those things. Especially a president of a country as important as the United States, which is supposedly a developed country regarding industries, but as well regarding the mentality. So I don't know how he's allowed to say those absurd things. It not only perpetuates the harsh stereotypes that are already associated to Mexicans, but having a president that perpetuates those stereotypes is only making the situation worse and getting in the head of many of US citizens. Now, Gala, I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it is not just the problem that this man says these things, but also that many people have voted him. So we have a great social problem with a huge degree of abundance. I mean, many people in this in U.S. society agree with him, which that's the most important part of this problem. And and I am also going to answer what our lovely and reasonable favorite president said about rape and Mexicans. Blaming immigrants for committing most rapes is an international phenomenon that has been used as a political tool by many parties that I would call conservative if I were politically correct, but as I have shown, I am not, so I am going to call them by their names. Fascist. For example, our beloved leader Abascal said that 69% of rapes in our country are committed by immigrants. However, this data is obviously false as it has been taken and manipulated from a research made by Meritxell Perez Ramirez, who confirmed that this is not true. This false information has also been spread by the most reliable mass media, OK Diario, which has been investigated for disseminating misleading information. It is remarkable to observe how interested is the white man in blaming others for their action. They try to avoid talking about their own privileges and crimes by diverting public attention to a lower social class. Making up a relation between race and rape is just as absurd as connecting it to blood type. Do you imagine politicians with positive resource factor claiming that those without this antigen in their blood have a greater tendency to rape? Statistics, researches about blood type and crime would be made, and very critical media such as OK Diario would publish graphics showing that those with A antigen are the most aggressive type of criminals. The reason why this doesn't happen is because blood type doesn't have a political or social meaning. It is not linked with oppression. We must understand that all this nonsense and false data are attempts of legitimizing white supremacy and therefore terrorism. They try to make us see violence as something fair and necessary. Exceptional cases are taken and presented as representative. However, if we think about it, 100% of rapists are men. Should we deport all of them and let them drown in the Mediterranean Sea just in case? Double standards from these people have no limits, since they are constantly telling feminists not to generalize that not all men and blah blah blah. In contrast, they find no problem in telling that all immigrants are rapists and are causing problems in Spain or the US. Hypocrisy, where? Regarding the original question, should all opinions be respected? To my mind, everything depends on how we define the term opinion. If we consider that everything people support are opinions, the answer is clearly no. Conversely, I would define the term opinion as a conclusion you reach after thinking carefully, being critical with others and as well and with yourself too. Consequently, an opinion is based on reason and not on personal individual feelings. Oppression is about a feeling of superiority. It has no logic arguments, also they try to rationalize their emotions. White, male, class, and heterosexual supremacy are not opinions, are just violence. Are we going to compare tolerant and respectful ideas with fascism? Do they deserve the same degree of public acceptance? How are Jews and homosexuals going to feel if we don't condemn Nazism? How can a councillor from the Popular Party compare a swastika with a LGBT flag? Is free love the same as a genocide for our modern politicians? How are we going to prevent a new Holocaust if we respect neo-Nazis? Are we really going to achieve equality and freedom if it can be claimed on a public space that Jews should be in a concentration camp? Not really. Freedom of speech doesn't mean violence and can never justify it. Well, and next up, Anna is going to talk a little bit about Spain's public healthcare system in our section, Human Rights, Reality or Fiction.
So first of all, before beginning with this, I'd like to say that I really like how you clearly differentiated freedom of speech, which is a right we all have, and freedom of speech and opinions with what is violence. So I really liked your comparison, and the questions I think might have helped a lot of people to understand this better.
Exactly. I don't know when, in which point we started to associate freedom with hate.
Exactly. I completely agree. So now I'm going to move to our next section, human rights, reality or fiction. So in this section, as I previously mentioned, we're going to talk about the public healthcare system. So first of all, before getting myself into any points of views or opinions and all, I would like to say that in these tough times, so right now with the coronavirus and everything, Spain, we are very lucky to even have access to public healthcare, as many countries such as the US don't have one. However, I am grateful for the public healthcare system, but this doesn't mean that there is no room for improvement. Over these past few months, we've been seeing doctors on TV and nurses struggle in their job, working overtime each day whilst being exposed to getting infected by the COVID-19. In fact, up to 9,400 doctors and nurses got infected so far, from just working each day and being exposed to the virus, clearly. However, this never stopped their motivation and their compromise to help the Spanish population pull through their crisis. So I think we should be very appreciative of our nurses and our doctors because they've done a wonderful job and they've helped us a lot. So during these months of quarantine, people have been showing gratitude by giving rounds of applause at 8 p.m. each night from their balconies, their gardens. And this has been done, I think it has not only been done in Spain, but other countries too. However, in Spain, it has been done all over the country. So at 8 p.m. each night, you would hear a round of applause showing gratitude for our doctors and nurses. Now, it might seem like an admirable thing to do, and it might seem like, wow, the Spanish population is really grateful and, well, and that, but it might seem like something that really shows we're a community and that are united. And I would like to say, yeah, it might show that, but the hypocrisy comes when many of these people who are all giving applauses at 8 p.m. are also the ones who vote political parties that don't prioritize public healthcare in their campaigns. In fact, whenever we need to make a cut, they need to make a cut budget-wise, they don't hesitate to resort to public healthcare. This crisis has not only opened up our eyes to see that we have to give much more importance and much more funds and money to public healthcare, because maybe when we least expect it is when we most need public healthcare. And we should get better in that. But we also must reflect that we can have an impact in this. Do you think that professionals in the medical field are going to be satisfied by a couple of applauses from you guys at 8 p.m.? Do you really think 5 minutes of gratitude each night applauding will help them work better? Truth is, in Spain, doctors are pretty badly paid, and they have always complained about this. However, no one has wanted to hear them until now, when we really need them. And doctors are out there working their butts off, and we just sit in our houses giving them a round of applause to feel better about ourselves, instead of, when it's time to vote a political party that might support them better. And what we need to do, is take a closer look into which party is willing to show more support to the public healthcare system. Do you agree with me?
That is completely true, Anna. I also think that gratitude is an awful feeling in politics. What I mean is that you cannot thank the state for granting us basic rights we pay for and we deserve. I mean, of course, people that work at hospitals might deserve these applauses, but it's exactly what you say. We must defend public healthcare system in order to help them. Public healthcare must be defended. And against who? Against all the attempts we have been suffering these last years of privatizing it. Many politicians and businessmen are trying to get economic benefits playing with our lives. And these are exactly the ones who then take the Spanish flag and say they are the ones who most love our country. We don't want poor families to get in debt in order to afford a medical treatment. No more corruption and speculation. Therefore, we must face this topic with a very skeptical vision, since the number of deaths would have been considerably reduced if we had had a proper healthcare system. The honest and solidary politician, Ayuso, has already signed the dismissal of many medical workers, while she applauses every day in front of mass media. Of course, those workers he has betrayed. We can see that the hypocrisy does not only affect a single party in Spain. As Rob Blagojevich said, healthcare is not a privilege. It's a right. It's a right as fundamental as civil rights. It's a right as fundamental as giving every child a chance to get a public education.
So yeah, that is a great statement, and I completely agree with you with the fact that many politicians are hypocrites for just kind of wanting to show that they're grateful for public healthcare in front of the whole Spanish population, but then in their own parties, cutting the budgets of these public healthcare institutes. So I think we have reached the end of our first program. Thanks to all of you for being here, and if you have listened up to here, well, thank you. And we hope you had a good time as we had, and we hope we have informed you on some topics, and you have formulated your own opinions as well.
Yeah, our aim was to bring politics closer to students and people in general. If we want a free and equal society, we must fight for it. Progress doesn't come by itself. As Angela Davis wrote, liberty is a constant struggle. Power needs us silent and ignorant about politics in order to be able to manipulate us. We finish with a quote from Plato. One of the drawbacks for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your intellectual inferiors.
So, yet again, we've ended with a great quote by a great philosopher. And that's pretty much it. So, bye and thanks for listening.
Thank you for that. That's all we had time for today. But well, food for thought. What the girls just presented us with, really. I really hope that someone out there is listening to that, because those, as Gala was pointing out, are not just opinions. They can be opinions, but by definition, they are human rights in many cases, and it's a question of respect in the case of gender equality, in the case of homophobia, and such global issues that I think, sort of come into conflict sometimes when we mix them with opinions and the right to the freedom of speech, let's say, to show your hatred of certain communities or minorities. Thank you very much for that, girls, and thank you everybody who was listening to this. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.
is happening. Give me an opportunity. You say that you belong to me. Now you are ignoring me.